Hey, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Evan. Today, I have with me my friends,
Skylar,
Preston,
David.
Yep. And today, we're going to talk about our favorite Disney films, the best and the worst of the Disney animated features. So, this is not including the Pixar films, and it's not including some of the Disney sort of published or Disney released stuff, like some of the Studio Ghibli and all that. Those are all out.
purely Walt Disney.
Yeah, purely the Walt Disney Animation Studios stuff. So I mean, there's a lot to cover when it comes to that. I mean, I think they've had like 56 movies or something,
roughly around there.
Since pretty much World War II.
Yeah. I mean, they've been making them forever. Obviously, Disney's one of the largest corporations in the world, so it's
for better or for worse.
Yeah, for better or for worse. So it's hard to it's hard to escape, having watched them as children, and everybody kind of knows Disney, right? So, but there's a lot of films. I mean, even I think big Disney fans probably haven't seen some of these films, and some of them are just plain hard to find. They're put in the vault, or whatever they call it, the Disney vault. So they make it hard to get. I mean, I remember hearing like the Black Cauldron wasn't released for almost like 8 years or something like that. Like they wanted to disavow it. They didn't even want anybody to know about it. And I don't even know if you can get Song of the South today.
No.
Right. Like, I'm not even sure you can find it. So obviously
they will never publish that.
Not even on Disney Plus they will do it.
Right. So I mean, it's just funny like that there are. It's almost impossible to watch the entire back catalog, and some of them are like funky, like Fun and Fancy Free is technically a Disney. I don't know if y'all have seen.
I have never even heard of it.
Oh, really? See what I mean? Yeah.
What is it called again?
Fun and Fancy Free.
It's basically a Disney compilation film during the World War II era when they were putting out films, because they weren't like giant stories. It was just kind of like stories, like 6 stories added together like
was
that.
Was it 6?
It's not always 6, but I'm just saying like roughly it was like shorts basically added together with maybe a congruent plot over it. And that was definitely Fun and Fancy Free, where there was like kind of a storyteller telling a story, and that like added all of them together.
They had like the bongo with the weird bear, circus bear thing.
So basically kind of like a precursor to Fantasia.
I think Fantasia was before that.
Oh.
Yeah,
actually.
It could be. Fantasia definitely was like more of an art project, and this was more of a like, do you know the Three Caballeros?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was much like that, where it was these compilation films, which is why I left it out of the good or bad subjects of today, because they're not one congruent film.
What's a compilation?
You know what?
Compilation.
Anyway,
someone take my podcast rights away.
It was just it was just bothering me. It's like when someone says nuclear. I was a nuclear. It was a nuclear. It was an. I can't even say it. Nuclear bomb.
Nuclear.
I know it's nuclear. Yeah. I'm just saying I can't. I have to force myself to say nuclear.
Wasn't that a running joke in Austin Powers?
Maybe.
I don't remember.
I actually watched him recently, but those things are so packed full of gags that it's hard to remember. Anyway, so
we're already derailed. It's fine.
It happens. So I mean, some of the things we're going to kind of cover are, it's really hard to say like what is the best Disney film or what is the worst Disney film, and there's a ton of sort of metrics you can use, and so I kind of wanted to make it a little more broad. So I mean, we'll all say what like our favorite movies are, and we're not going to pare it down to one, and we're not going to say this one's the best, right?
Yeah.
But we'll say like we'll do that, and then we'll do like what of our favorite characters, how about our favorite music, so that way we can kind of give a different perspective and get some different ones, and maybe some of the listeners who haven't watched some of these films that we tend to like can go and find them, especially now that we have Disney Plus and we have lots of time to do things. So so I don't know exactly where to start, but maybe we'll just pick someone out and say, who's ready to tell us our top 3.
Let's start with Preston because I can already guess which one of them is.
Yeah, I know one of them.
Yeah. So actually, this was pretty hard for me to narrow it down to just 3 picks. Getting in the top 2 was so easy. I mean, not even a problem. But the third one, I now even sitting here am still struggling thinking about. Like, I'm not quite sure where it is. But definitely one of them is a hidden gem that you can watch on Disney Plus. It's called Treasure Planet. It is one of the best, my personal favorite Disney films. It's a swashbuckling adventure in space, and it sounds ridiculous, but it actually works really well. It's based off of the book Treasure Island. So much fun, stays very true to the story, and just puts a fun space twist on it. And the other one I have is Tangled, which is kind of the first CG animated Disney princess movie. It was fantastic. Added the every animal is a dog trope into Disney that you see with Sven and all these other animals that come in later on because of Maximus the horse. So it really revolutionized where Disney was going and kind of ushered in the modern classic era where they were moving. Now I don't know what that actually is called now that they're calling these movies, not the Renaissance. But.
Yeah, I don't remember, but it's kind of a centralized, like all the Disney princess stuff has a very similar look and feel and takes place in the same like universe.
Yeah, I mean you can actually,
except for like what Moana. Moana is probably not in the same.
Well, it's in the past, so it's hard to say. But anyways, and then my third that I actually just switched right now is I had Tarzan written down, and I love Tarzan, but I'm gonna actually have to go with Atlantis.
Oh,
and for those of you who have never seen Atlantis, Michael J. Fox is the main character. It is fantastic. It's a fun, just adventure movie, and you can probably tell already the movies that I picked besides Tangled are very non-Disney. They're more action-adventure movies, and that's what I'm into. So it's kind of go into these for the science fiction feel that's not very Disney. Even on like the Atlantis production, they have shirts that said less songs, more explosions. And so it showed you right away.
I want that actually.
And it showed you right away that like they were wanting something different. And then the same thing with Treasure Planet. The people that made it, the 2 directors made Little Mermaid, The Mouse Detective, Moana. So they were known for the princess movies, but they're like, no, let us do something that we really want. So it was very much a passion project, and you can see that bleed into the film. And next up, we will have Skylar go since he called me out.
Oh.
Got some blood here already.
Got dabbed on.
Okay. My number 1 favorite one is surprisingly Aladdin, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, because I watched that one the most as a kid, and it's a little bit of Robin Williams, but I like the music. I really like the the art style.
Okay.
And I really like the songs.
Yeah, I mean the songs are completely solid all the way through on that one for sure.
Yeah.
Didn't they remove Arabian Nights from the remake?
No, it was in there, but Will Smith sang it.
Yeah, it's Will Smith.
It had more of a kind of R&B rap feel to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone I had heard that they like didn't like that because of some weird cultural thing or something like that.
It was
or maybe it was
okay.
the lyrics they changed or something.
They did change the lyrics.
That's
slightly.
okay. That's what it was. That's what it was.
It was okay, but
Yeah. No, I mean Aladdin's a great film.
My second one, what was it called? Oh, that's right, The Princess and the Frog. For some reason, that kind of blanked in my brain for a bit.
Honestly, wouldn't have saw that for your pick.
Yeah. The reason is because I do have a like for jazz music, actually.
Yeah.
And also another thing, one of my favorite voice actors is Keith David, who plays the villain in this. And he's having so much fun in this movie.
Yeah. I actually watched that last night because I hadn't seen it since I watched it in the theaters. And I was like, well, maybe I need to take a look at it again. And I actually considered putting it in my top 3 because I was blown away again by like the soundtrack, and the jazz numbers are really great. And it ranges from, you get sort of these these New Orleans jazz, very, typical sort of Satchmo type stuff. And then you move over to like the more, was it Prince? Wow, what's the guy's name? Something long hair.
I forgot his name.
Yeah, there's a like a really famous piano player that
just
does
call
that.
him the Frog Prince.
Well, no, I mean the actual musician in real life.
Oh,
yeah. There's like a
actual.
There's
Prince?
it's like Doc Longhair or something.
Oh, I thought you meant
Professor. Maybe it's Professor Longhair.
I don't know. I thought you meant when you said Prince. I thought you meant like Purple Rain guy.
No,
Okay.
no. There's a really famous like that New Orleans piano style.
Okay.
Like it's this one guy. So they have like a song that's like that. Almost There is a great song. The When We're Human. Oh, that's awesome. That one's so good. The Bayou song is great. Like the Mama Odie song every song is good in that film. And they're all kind of different, just a little bit in their style, but it kind of moves over that palette of the South, which I think has been largely ignored.
Yeah. What is it? Whenever Disney does kind of a movie set in America, they mostly set like in the northern part or that normally ignore the South.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Except for that one other movie.
The song of.
Which now you see why they left it alone
Now
for a long
you can't.
time.
Yeah, now you can't find it. So, and then you had one more.
Yeah, but one more because we were doing top 3.
Yeah.
The third one, this one was a little bit harder because I always kind of figure out, well, what can I consider be the third one? And I kind of said Tangled. I
Yeah.
like Tangled.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah.
We got some bias on this side. but
Dang.
okay.
Dang.
The bribe worked.
I think one of like the big reasons is because it kind of feels like a modern version of classic Disney.
Yeah. Yeah, they did a really good job kind of removing like for instance, and it worked for some of these films, like the Hercules thing, right? Where they put it in the past, but it's like, oh, it's New York. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of this haha.
I say Vegas mostly.
Well, it's meant to be New York.
Really?
Yeah, because they call it they don't call it the Big Apple, but they call it the something, it's thieves. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And that's the whole New York thing, right? So
because the what were the ladies called again?
the
Muses?
The
The Muses.
Yeah.
They kind of have more like a Vegas vibe.
No, they're gospel.
No.
Because the joke is that it's that Greek myth is gospel, which I actually was going to talk about that later. It's such a great idea. And the whole thing of like Hercules is basically Michael Jordan. That's literally like it's a sports movie.
Yeah.
Hercules is a sports movie. So anyway,
But why Tangled? Why is it up there?
The reason I really like it is because because it is just classic Disney to me. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just how times are and how movies are kind of being right now. I kind of wanted something a little more classic, classic, and then Tangled came along and I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I mean it's devoid of like anachronisms and kind of these jokes about it's like modern times. It takes itself like kind of seriously. It kind of forms its own mythology, and it's not just a retelling of the original story.
Oh, definitely
either.
not. No.
Which is great. Like it put kind of that modern flair, like the Flynn Rider, kind of being roguish instead of the knight in shining armor sort of thing. And yeah, so there's lots of great things about that film.
Oh, with Aladdin on top. Did you know that the original story was set in China?
Oh, you mean the actual?
The actual
and Aladdin's French.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, French Aladdin in China.
Yes.
Really?
Now I see why they went with Arabian.
Because the one in
connects.
1001 Arabian Nights was written because they were translating to French, so they added in a story.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
That was pretty much it.
Weird. Yeah. How things.
It's weird.
Yeah. Things just change over time. It's just funny how that happens. But anyway, so David, what are your top 3?
I got a blank page here.
Oh, that's nice.
I know. Best work Disney ever. All right. So, I guess my favorite Disney movie would be Bambi, 1942 release.
I only like the first 5 minutes.
Really?
Oh wow!
Where they kill his mother.
Wow!
That's the joke.
Bang! Oh, that was great. Okay,
You know,
turn it off.
where they stopped drawing the deer, that was the saddest moment. Shout out to Friends. But no, I like Bambi. It was the arts. I had the VHS tape. It was a special limited edition. I let someone borrow it. They never gave it back.
Oh,
So, but in that edition, I just liked the art style. I love the story. And plus, in that special edition, I saw how they were drawing everything by hand back in the day. And when they were doing drops of water, they would literally get, they were observing milk, right? And they would get the little turkey baster. They would do drops and they would observe it, have the camera slow everything down frame by frame, and then they would redraw that. And then they would show the process of how they would layer everything over and over in order to get that fluid motion.
yeah.
And then they would carry that out throughout the entire film.
Mm-hmm.
So besides the art style, I just liked, I don't know, I just like Bambi. I guess you could call it a coming of age story if you wanted to.
Yeah.
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 You know that film actually traumatized a whole generation? Seriously.
Yeah.
Like when it came out, I believe, was it around World War II?
Yeah, it is definitely.
Yeah,
it's older.
and they said because parents were dying in World War II, when the mom died right off the bat, they were just like, oh!
What is it? The show Animaniacs had an entire episode making fun of that.
Yeah.
basically, a main character has a nephew, and she takes him to go see the movie, and the nephew keeps on crying, so she has to take him all the way to Hollywood because she's friends with the actress who played the mom
To prove that she's not dead.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's great.
That's funny.
That's great.
What's your other picks?
Other picks. Actually, we'll see. Settle this one for me. Emperor's New Groove. That one Disney, or is that?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's Disney.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Best Disney princess. All right. Cusco.
He's
Cusco's poison.
not a princess.
Yes, he is.
He's a man.
He's a
I
princess,
would
all
argue
right?
he could be a princess.
That's
I-
2020. You can't
I
say
don't
he's
know.
not a
Evan,
princess.
it's very similar to how we see Speedwagon. He's our best waifu.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He definitely has. And Wreck-It Ralph too. There was a do you have magic glowing hair? Do you have this going on? That all the princesses were talking to Vanellope about, and they're like, "Oh, you don't meet these requirements." But then I saw a thing with Cusco, and they said all of it, and he actually met every single requirement. And so I can see your argument. He really is a Disney princess if you follow the Disney what they said in Wreck-It Ralph 2 of this is what it means to be a Disney princess, and he meets every single one.
Wow.
All right, so canon, Cusco, princess.
I guess so.
All right, nice.
I mean, he doesn't end up with anybody at the end, so who's to say?
He's a strong,
he
strong
found-
independent
Well,
presence.
he found bromance.
Romance.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a tomboy.
We can just call him a trap.
Yeah, he's a trap. Yeah, he's a trap.
But anyways, yeah, love Emperor's New Groove. It was just a funny movie, very enjoyable movie, something I could watch every day.
Infinitely quotable.
Oh,
There's it's
The waterfall scene is probably my favorite.
yeah. Or even just the scene where they're in the not the pub, what are they, the diner, basket of grubs, and does that whole thing. On second thought, make my potatoes a salad. All that. There's just so
and
much.
then you have Patrick Warburton as the assistant.
Kronk.
Kronk.
One more for exotic bird bingo.
Or just
it's every minute
That's
has a
meme right
joke.
there.
There's not a minute of that movie that doesn't move a mile a minute.
one of my favorite jokes in that entire movie is when he has a little tiny tent over his crotch that he's sleeping under, and he pitched a tent.
Yep.
And I mean, as a kid, you're just like, oh, ha ha, tiny little tent. And as an adult, you go, oh no.
pretty big tent in context of
The peasant at the diner. He didn't pay his bill. Okay, what's your third film? We can go on about that one forever.
Let me see. Did I write down a third film? I think I just had those two.
I expressly said 3.
I'm sorry.
You don't look sorry.
Well, this one, I feel like this one's going to be a large majority of people's favorites. Lion King.
I was actually surprised that it hadn't been brought up yet.
I
Sorry,
kind
I'm a
of
pleb, all right? And
I kind of just didn't want to be
oh, you don't
Furry?
want to be basic? Huh?
no.
Oh.
Well, I did watch Beastars over the weekend,
Oh.
so
I was going to start that yesterday.
It's actually really good.
I hadn't gotten around to it.
Preston's a horrified over here.
It's just Zootopia with more society.
Yeah.
You're a furry.
No. You're a furry if you like The Lion King. You know how Nala looks at Simba
Hakuna
during that?
Matata.
Oh, no.
Wait a minute. Which one? The live action or the animated?
Oh, you've got to be
no,
joking,
no,
right?
no.
I'm joking.
Yeah, it's funny that the live action ones actually count. Like the quote unquote live action Lion King is listed under the Walt Disney.
What?
Yeah, I think it was.
Dang.
I'm not getting counted.
Yeah, no, it's not. I don't think it counts.
I'm not-
I mean, it is technically fully animated,
Yeah.
which is actually more than you can say for Dinosaur. Because
Really?
y'all remember Dinosaur?
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
It's not.
It's on my list over
It's
here.
real backgrounds with CGI animals.
What is
I
it?
know that.
My
really?
family told me when they took me to go see that there was a loud sound and made me afraid to go to the movie theaters ever again for a while.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh?
Okay.
That's funky. Huh? Yeah, that was a weird film, man. We actually want to talk about that one later.
Yeah, we
a
can.
little
And
bit.
I
then-
have it on the list.
There you go.
You don't have your third?
He said Lion King.
Oh, you did.
Lion
Oh,
King.
sorry.
Yeah.
I missed
Yeah.
that.
So it just
Forgot. We were
Elton
talking about
John
furries.
soundtrack and everything, or just
Yeah, I guess pretty much because I enjoyed watching Simba. You know, I just
So
liked watching him grow up.
you like coming of age films?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because there's progress being made here, not just you're not feeling like you're stuck in around watching the same thing, like waiting for something to happen. I guess I don't know if that made sense. Probably not at all, but
I do not know.
it's kind of like because I like playing video games. I like playing like games like Dark Souls and Darksiders and anything with progression, right?
Right.
So coming of age films, I don't know, strike a chord with me. I guess you could say.
So you like the Lion King game?
I haven't played it.
Do you like the Lion King world and Kingdom Hearts 2? Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
That's a fun level.
It's hard mechanics to run around, but it is fun.
I like the when you can surf around, when you can you can Tokyo drift in your lion form.
Deja vu.
I've just been in this place before. Higher on the streets. You know,
Actually, the what is it? The Little Mermaid world in the first one.
No,
is-
we're not even bringing that up.
no, you know what? Upon a replay, I don't hate that level as much because I know where to go. When you don't know where to go, you get lost. It's the second Kingdom Hearts where they do make it fair. They do make it entirely skippable,
Yes.
which is great. But the fact that it's a rhythm game is so cringe. It's so bad.
What, you didn't like Sora singing?
No. Yeah, no. Haley Joel Osment's got other things he can do, but not that. That wasn't his strong suit. Anyway,
What about you, Evan?
So,
What's
yeah.
the top three?
my top three.
Do you mind if I get some water?
No, you can't. What? You sat down. Go get some water. It's in that little
Yeah,
thing
I
over
see.
there. Okay, so my top three. I hate that we're probably gonna be. I'm treading over the same old ground. But I kind of tried to choose three different on sort of different measures, right? So like, I'm not really going by like, oh, this is my number one or my number two, but you know, I kind of went by like, what's the one that I watched the most? Emperor's New Groove, 100%. Like I've watched that probably more than almost any other film in general. It's one of my favorites just of all time, you know, up there for me with like School of Rock and some other things like that. And just in terms of, I used to put it on and there was a point where I could quote the whole film when I was like really young. I could go almost entirely through it. Not every single line, but pretty close. And so I just, you know, it has heart. It has humor. The animation is fun. The characters are memorable and fun. You know, every scene of it is good. There's like not a part of the movie where I'm like bored or anything. So yeah, the Emperor's New Groove, definitely my most watched. I wouldn't call it my favorite. It's just hard to say, right? But it's like in terms of feel good, put it on anytime. That's, you know, kind of my number one for that.
So what do you think of the TV show?
It was fun.
It had moments from what I remember. There was like a part of the episode, or one episode I remember, where Cusco had to write a haiku, and he couldn't do it, except that every line he spoke in the episode was a haiku. And so the girl character was like, you just did, like, you can do it. You just did it right now. And he's like, what do you mean? I have never talked in haiku, however he does. But he's like doing it. Anyway, it was a dumb joke, but it was kind of funny. That's the only thing I really remember from the show. And the David Spade impersonation was like, okay, it's fine. But, I don't know. I never really watched any of the Disney movie shows, like the Hercules one or the Tarzan one. I think it was Disney XD, and I never had it when I was a kid. So,
it was called Jetix at the time.
Oh, Jetix.
I thought it was called Toon Disney at the time.
It probably was Toon Disney, Jetix, then Disney XD.
Yeah, I don't.
It went through.
know.
It went through 3 different forms.
Yeah, I don't.
This
I
isn't
don't
even
know.
my final form.
No, Disney Plus. It's its final form.
And that's where it's
Kind of
gonna
is. It's all there now. Okay, so then I think my second for like Disney is really kind of best known for its princess line, and I just think Tangled is my favorite princess film.
Oh my god!
I know it's like it's 3 out of 4. It's kind of dumb, but it truly is like it took that classic into the modern. It's got a solid plot. It's got a great kind of a twist on it. It's not the typical like the damsel in distress thing, but Rapunzel isn't like this overpowered, I can do everything by myself sort of character either. Like, it's a good balance. The Flynn Rider, Flynn Rider's a gentleman and waits until she's 18. Anyway.
Well, luckily he didn't end up like how the prince did in the original story.
Oh, it doesn't.
He gets blinded after jumping off the tower.
Oh gosh.
Into a thorn bush.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, yeah, no, he didn't get done too dirty. I mean, he did die.
Yeah.
But he got better.
Yeah.
He got better. So it's got great music. I mean, Alan Menken does a fantastic job. He did all of the all the Disney music that you remember from Little Mermaid and all that. That was Alan Menken. He came back and he did a fantastic job once again. I think I've Got a Dream is such a good banger. I mean, it's funny. It's easy to remember. It's catchy. It gets stuck in my head sometimes just randomly. And I really like the first song, the When Will My Life Begin? It just has so many fun, interesting chord changes, and it's got a different feel from like most every other kind of Disney princess music score. Like I don't know. It just has this kind of interesting rock folk, but it's not too rocky, but it's not all orchestrated, and it's not too sappy. It's just a good mixture.
Yeah, definitely. You can feel the joy in every song. Like,
Yeah.
Other like Disney movies, they have like the villain song and stuff. And even the villain song is just like
Mother Knows Best.
And it has this joy to it. And every single thing is like joyful. So it's kind of weird. Yeah.
And it's funny too, because one of our friends, I can bleep it out, I guess, the Mrs. kind of looks like
Oh my gosh, she does.
kind of looks like Mother Gothel, and she does an amazing impression and like sings that song. It's actually hilarious. It's great. So it's kind of funny because when I watch the film, I think about them. So, anyway, it's got a great villain song. It's even the love song is really good at the At Last I See the Light. My only complaint is he uses the word crystal clear again, which he used in A Whole New World. Which is kind of the same. They're taking a ride together, and it's kind of their love moment. And he uses the words crystal clear.
I'd say that's a little bit of a nitpick.
It's a nitpick, but I mean, it's like you're one of the top songwriters in the world. Like you couldn't have found another. Anyway, it both works in context for both the songs, so I can't really. You're right. It's kind of a nitpick, but anyway, so I think that's the best princess film to me because it's got a little bit of everything in terms of action, comedy, and that was the start of all the 3D waifus. So
Oh yeah, Rule 34 just. Hit
no, we're not going there.
Let's go there.
No, we're not.
No, please.
We'll mention it, but that's it.
Well, Skylar, why don't you share your DeviantArt account with us? Anyway, and then I think my number 3, and it's not necessarily like, again, it's not like my favorite. It's not. It's so hard to say because there's plenty of films that I could have put in this list. Sword in the Stone, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Tarzan. I love all these films. But if you want a little bit of everything, it's Mulan.
Yes.
Mulan has action. It's got romance. It has comedy, and it has amazing music.
Oh yeah. Just I'll Make a Man Out of You. Incredible. Yeah.
And I mean the visuals are stunning. It's just really good, and you really feel like because Mulan has a lot to fight for. She's trying to protect her family at first, and then she's trying to prove herself that she can do, what other people can't do. And she's, then I think it kind of hits home in, after the, not Make a Man? Whoa, what are we fighting? Girl Worth Fighting For. And at the end of it, cause the whole joke is that she doesn't have a girl worth fighting for because she is the girl.
Worth fighting for.
But then they get into the village and she finds the doll and that's the girl, right? She's fighting for every girl in China. She's fighting for, everybody in China, right? The common people who are being oppressed by the Huns.
Shan Yu,
I think is what it was. But, so it's just a great, it kind of expands from this personal battle to some sort of an ideological battle against prejudice or sexism or whatever you want to call it. And then it's more like, okay, you know what? Actually, I have to do this for my people, for my nation. And I just find that so, so compelling and great. And of course, the whole, like the pool scene or whatever,
the river.
The river scene is hilarious. There's tons of just great.
Yeah.
And it's humor you wouldn't find probably in a modern film.
Oh, no.
No,
they wouldn't have put it in there.
Well, because Eddie Murphy even got to be himself in it, and it's just like he's not even he's Mushu, but he's just Eddie Murphy, just being himself, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
I love the bath scene. How you're talking about I never want to see another naked man again, and then there's 40 that run at her, and it's just just her face. They don't show anything but a bunch of backs and her face, and it's perfect. It's so funny.
And that's the whole you ever watch Futurama? And there's that episode where they go onto the water planet and they're people from this part of the planet be like, whoa, and he does this one thing and then he does, I don't know, but it's just kind of one of those very typical women are like this and men are like this, which is still funny, right? Those jokes are still funny, but you don't see them anymore typically. And even evidenced by, the way that China was taking over the new Mulan remake.
Oh yeah.
And they were removing the romance. They were removing all of the humor that was based around she's a woman in a man's world and, the bath thing and all this, because it would make her look foolish, or it would be, so it's so sexist because she's, being oppressed by seeing all these genitalia or whatever, right? You just wouldn't see it today. It would be made into a whole different thing. And it was. We haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen the actual film. But we know that on one side, the Americans, the cultural vandals, have been taking away all of that humor and that side of the story. And then the other side of the cultural vandalism being China, removing all of the, American sort of, I don't know, our sense of humor and our way of storytelling, and instead making it an entirely different thing. And I don't know. And I think that's going to be interesting to see the remake, and especially after this whole COVID thing, right? And how does that change everybody's perception about what China's doing to our media, right? I don't know. I just find that interesting, and we'll see. But Mulan is just not a film that's going to be made today. It's just not going to happen. So I think that's partially why it's in my top 3. But anyway, there's tons of stuff to talk about. So let's go. We did our top 3. I mean, there are others we can talk about too. I think we will some point later in the podcast here, but let's talk about like what are our bottom 3? And we don't have to take too long on this. And it's hard. It's hard to pick a bottom 3. I mean, there's a lot. There's so, like we said, there's so many films. It's hard to pick a top 3 and even a bottom 3. Like, are there any films in the catalog that are like truly bad films? I mean, maybe. Yeah, kind of, but like entirely bad, hard to say, So anyway, let's just go in the same order we did earlier.
All right, then I will start. One of the worst films happens to be a really good friend of mine's favorite film, The Black Cauldron.
Oh, I can understand.
Yeah, and why it's bad is it just feels like there was so much potential in the original story that they could have drawn from. And it just wasn't realized. Like you have a great villain trapped in like a bad movie, because like it feels like a D&D game played by people that aren't really sure what D&D is, and it doesn't really ever flesh out with like I don't fall in love with the characters. Like nothing really ever draws me in. The voice acting's bad, and the main princess's name is Elanwi or something like that. Like it's so hard to say that it's like how can you be like, oh, I love Cinderella and Rapunzel and Elanwi. Like it doesn't flow. It doesn't mix with anything, which is why she's totally absent when they do the Disney princesses, and she's just been forgotten out of time because that movie is just there's some redeeming qualities, but definitely one of the worst. The other is Home on the Range. An early 2000s movie that probably has been purged from most people's memories.
I think that was the one that essentially tanked the 2D animation department.
Yes,
I think that and Treasure Planet when that bombed too.
Don't you dare.
That was,
I'm not saying it's a bad
but that
movie.
was 2 years earlier.
Well,
I think.
it kind of attributed.
It definitely did help the fall of it. But
Yeah.
to be fair, Treasure Planet went against the first Harry Potter on opening weekend.
And another, it went against something else too, I think.
Yeah, and it was just a property that people weren't sure of. And
Well,
then you have
it was
this other
also
stuff.
because of Disney too.
Right.
They did not want to do it.
No.
Pretty much the director's kind of stronghold.
Was Iger in at that time, or was that the Katzenberg before?
That's hard to say. I don't know.
I can't remember.
Anyways, but Home on the Range, I mean, the movie, the voice acting is absolutely terrible. They get a lot of famous people in that movie that don't know what they're doing. They're all trying country accents, and it just bombs hard. And it's so bad that I don't think I've ever gone back to see it. And I've gone back and watched almost every single Disney movie, and they're all great except for that one. It's forgettable. It's a very forgettable film. And it was in the time where Disney just wasn't strong in their stories. You had like that kind of time frame where they were trying computer animation and trying these different things and were focusing more on the looks and getting big stars rather than the actual story and substance in it. And Home on the Range suffered because of that. And my last one might get some people mad at me who are listening. Dumbo.
Really?
Yes. Dumbo.
Elaborate, please.
Yes. By far, Dumbo is an enjoyable film, but it is one of those things where it's like you have some unnecessary scenes, like the pink elephant LSD scene, and like Dumbo. I don't know. I never get truly into it, and that could be because you have an actual baby as the lead character that doesn't speak, doesn't have.
I thought Dumbo speaks in that.
Honestly,
hold up.
I can't remember a single scene where he speaks. I mean, the mouse, because there's the mouse character.
I think he speaks, but barely. Oh. Like it's so minimal. But anyways, it's just one of those things where, as a film, and then like Jim Crow is an actual character in this thing.
Honestly, that's kind of hilarious when you think about it.
So, I mean, obviously, blatant racism. Yeah, so Evan obviously forgot about that.
Honestly, I did too.
Yeah, and so I mean, like that.
Jim Crow with the hard R.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things where it's like you kind of remember Dumbo, and you go, "Oh, that was fun," but if you go back and watch it, you're like, "Oh my gosh." it's not like it's definitely like we said, like a bad Disney movie is still a decent movie. Like, you can watch through it, but like the fact that like Jim Crow, like they didn't even hide it, like it's out there.
I think that's what was missing from the remake, Jim Crow.
Yeah, well, actually, I believe even on Disney Plus they actually censored out that character.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah,
they edited out some scenes from the Star Wars show.
Yeah, they did a
What?
lot of editing. Anything racist was removed.
Wait. From the Clone Wars movie or the show?
No. I'm just saying Disney properties in general.
Well,
they went through, and like you and me were even talking about this other day, where they added extra hair to a butt to cover and splash, and they've just de-racistized all of their movies because you watch early Disney movies and there are some very racist moments. Like it was a product of the time, but it's still something that you can go like, yeah, this isn't something I want to support anymore. Yeah.
Right. Well, I think that's personally, I'm not a fan of the changing things.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't know. Like, especially if you really do consider the opinions or the characters or the portrayals to be a mistake, how do you learn from a mistake if you just forget about it and erase it?
Yeah, a brilliant thing that Warner Brothers does for their Looney Tunes repackaging. If you buy a Looney Tunes disc, it will actually show you at the beginning some hurtful messages or racist things will be seen. This was a product of the time, but to like ignore this essentially would be bad. And that's their policy. And Disney's it was racist. We want to get rid of it.
Right.
And, I can understand, like, in the films now, the remakes, they don't put that stuff in there. And that's good. I mean, like, if you want to update it, go ahead, update it without the racism in it. But I agree with you where it's like that was a product of the time. To ignore it is to be like, whoa, we didn't. And that's like Disney trying to ignore all their mistakes, which are plenty.
Right.
So.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly right. I mean, and every company it's not one person, right? I mean, it's hundreds and hundreds of people or thousands. And, what are you going to do? I don't know. You just can't, how can you hold the company responsible for that? I don't know. And then maybe that's a weird point of view, but I just don't agree. Yeah. I don't agree in removing it, but, that's funny. Your bottom three, I almost put Dumbo in mine, and we'll get around to everybody's, but for the pink elephant scene, because I still have, like, it gives me a disgusting feeling in the pit of my stomach thinking about that scene. Like, I used to hate that film when I was a kid because of the pink elephant scene. And especially, like, I've never done LSD.
So you've done something else, though.
I'm just saying. I've never done LSD or whatever. I don't know. What does he drink? Is it alcohol?
I think it's alcohol.
Yeah, that's definitely not the effects of alcohol.
I've definitely been drunk. That is not what alcohol does to you, like, even a little bit. So I don't understand, like, why they decided to put it in there like that.
Maybe just a chance to show off their animation, and I feel like that would be the main reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's an impressive scene. It is. It's. Gosh, oh man, I don't even like thinking about it.
I mean, it's out of place. I feel what you're saying, because like Fantasia, they do sequences similar where it's just this like barrage of music and characters and colors and everything, but it fits because that's what they went for. And then in Dumbo, everything else is so bleak and weird and boring, and then you just get this scene and it's out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and like you said, it's like, how do you get drunk like that? Because obviously other characters have drank in Disney movies. Pinocchio is one of them. And they get drunk and that was it. I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal.
What was that island? Pleasure Island?
Yes.
Isn't that, you get abducted by a man and he takes you to Pleasure Island?
And he makes you a jackass, yeah.
And he makes you a jackass and you're a puppet that gets controlled by, that's like some weird, like, pedophile stuff or something. I don't know.
Isn't it also a wolf too? I don't think they were human.
A wolf sold it off to old creepy man.
Oh, okay. That makes much more sense.
Gosh.
Oh, God.
What was the wolf's name? Jeffrey Epstein?
Oh,
no, that was years before.
He was inspired by him. This needs to be cut.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway. Okay, so Skylar, what are your bottom couple or three?
Oh, gosh. Is straight to sequels count?
No.
Okay, then really, I just have one.
Okay.
Yeah, because the ones I really don't like are some of the Disney sequels.
Yeah.
So I have one, and I don't know how everyone's going to feel about this because I just watched this and I don't like it. Was Frozen 2.
Oh, really?
I did not like it. I legitimately think it's really bad.
Did you like Frozen 1?
I'm very indifferent about it. I like Tangled more.
Well, obviously you liked Frozen 1 enough to watch the sequel.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It was on Disney Plus, so I watched it.
Yeah.
The sequel sucked.
I like
little girls everywhere are just like
breaking
crying.
their hearts, man.
Yeah, come on, man.
So you know how they what's the snowman's name?
Olaf.
Olaf. You know how they introduce him like halfway through the movie so he's not as annoying?
In the first one?
Yeah, in the first one.
I mean, he's still trash.
Yeah, but now he's in the beginning of the movie and he's even more. You're just waiting for someone to melt him already.
When can summer come? Can summer come now?
Here's the
Please?
thing. Here's the thing. Like everything with Elsa is okay.
Yeah.
She actually does have a cool story arc.
Yeah, they went all Game of Thrones on her.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's
like with the incest or what?
Oh no. I meant like the action.
But
this is coming from a guy that didn't watch Game of Thrones, so
I didn't know if you were one of those Elsana OTP types or something.
don't even what?
yeah, it does exist. Elsa
Elsa
X.
Anna.
No.
His face.
No.
Your face.
His face, man.
Actually, there is one scene that kind of fuels that.
Wait,
Oh no.
I watched Frozen 2 and I don't know what scene you're talking about.
You just don't have a twisted enough mind.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. I don't.
Yeah, it was when they're cuddling in bed. That pretty much fuels it even more.
Oh, it's like the Dio and Poochie thing.
Oh,
Oh man, we won't bring JoJo too much into this.
But what is it? Just Kristoff trying to propose to Anna. What is it? Kristoff doesn't even be in this movie. He could have been cut out mostly.
Huh.
Basically, all he's just there is trying to propose to Anna. That's it. He doesn't really contribute to the plot.
Yeah.
And I also feel like the ending was kind of a cop out.
I haven't.
we haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it yet. So
You know, I wouldn't say it was a cop-out, but I can see why you wouldn't enjoy it. Like, honestly, I liked Frozen 2 more than Frozen 1.
I didn't know. Yeah.
I don't know. Like personally, I just can't get invested in Frozen 1. When I first saw it, I was just like, you know, I don't know. I just, the story arc didn't grab me. I didn't really think it was a clean narrative. Like there's I feel like there's problems with the story. Like there's why did he go here and do this? Like why did Kristoff, who's the bad guy in the first one?
Oh,
Hans.
Like why did Hans pretend to not want to kill Elsa when he went to the palace and then take her back to the castle and then say, JK lol, I'm going to kill you now, when he could have totally done it in self-defense, but he stopped people from killing her in the palace. And there's he had every right to kill her back then. And so now he's the bad. Anyway,
yeah.
Is this one of your bottom movies?
No, but he's on it now.
Sort of. But, I don't know. Well, we can talk about it later, I guess. Or we can talk about it now. I don't know.
I mean, if it's already one of your bottoms, yeah, just jump in with them.
I mean, yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, it's not quite in my bottom list, but I'll put it in there because I have problems with Frozen. I have problems with Frozen.
Don't tell anyone else that.
I'm just
Frozen is one of the most beloved movies in America.
Wow. You know what?
Even though it is so overplayed that
America can maybe never mind, I'm not gonna go there. But you know what? It's just I like some of the elements of Frozen, right? Okay, you're kind of doing the subversion of like, oh, I met this guy in a day and now I'm in love with him. And the whole joke being like, or not the joke, but the point being like, who falls in love in a day? You're an idiot to do that, right? So I like that they kind of played on that. There were things like that just made sense in this whole like family, or sisterly kind of bonding is a good thing. And
well, to certain people, that's not really sisterly bonding.
Right. Now that's the thing, right? There was some level of, I think, confusion over like, I guess, and I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it.
I don't know. Someone said this. I don't know if this is true, but like in the original production, they did plan them to be a little bit more, not sisters.
I don't. Yeah.
No. They were supposed to be not sisters, but she was supposed to be Elsa, much older and like more of a classic villain type, like of the 90s kind of Scar.
Well, that's
Ursula.
the original. The Snow Queen.
Yes.
She's not related to
the
main character.
They were gonna stay much more true to the original because actually it took over 70 years to make this because even Walt Disney, this is one of the stories he was eyeing while he was alive.
Yeah.
And so it was in the production mill forever before they ever became sisters.
Yeah. And it, I don't know. And I don't know if you've ever seen the concept art for Elsa when she was the Snow Queen, and she had like this mink coat that was literally minks, like live minks, and like or something like that. It was really stunning design, like really cool.
It was that Cruella de Vil kind of early design,
but the animals were alive.
Yeah,
they weren't.
Oh, that's really
if I remember correctly. So like just really interesting. Like I would have loved to see that villain. Instead, we got another Pixar twist villain.
When you describe that, that's kind of darker than I was.
I don't know. It was a cool concept, and the original story is beloved. Like my mom always talked about, that was one of her favorite stories growing up. I don't really know the original story like all the way through. I don't know the narrative or the lessons or whatever, but I know like that I think Disney stripped the meaning out of the story and tried to insert something where it just wasn't, and to me it didn't work. I don't know. The whole relationship with Kristoff is kind of forced, but it's not really a relationship. And, so you're kind of like, why is he here? Why are the trolls there? The trolls like have no part in the film. They're there at the beginning to say,
because it's set in the north.
They're just, I mean, I get it, but it's like they're there. They go, looks like magic. Kill you. We take memory of magic away. Therefore, magic gone. No more hurt. Okay.
Actually, it would have been an entirely different story if these were the classic trolls and the royal family were Christian. Because
I smell Christian blood.
Oh no. Well, we can't go there, can we? No, sir. But anyway, the music, like I have problems with the music in Frozen. Like,
just let it go. Man.
Look, no.
Just let it go.
I'm not letting it go. Someone made that joke 7 years ago to me, and it still is not funny. Here's the thing, right? The first like 3 or 4 songs are great. The intro with like the weird chanting and the ice cutting.
Very Lion King-ish.
that one was cool.
Really cool. I like that opening scene. It raises more questions to me than answers because like, first of all, what does Kristoff have to do with the story? Like almost nothing, right? Except that he knows where the trolls are. Why is he and his pet, like he's with all these burly men and he just walks off and lives with trolls? Like none of these men are like, hey, where's my son? Hey, where's that kid? Like, nope, he's just gone. Okay, guess my son gone now. Oh, he sells ice in the local markets 20 years later. Oh, hi, son. Yeah, that's cool. I just didn't understand what the point anyway. Like I get that he was like a tool to get the characters to the trolls. I understand that. I just thought it was weak personally. The song is great. Yeah. Then you go and like what's the next song? Want to Build a Snowman? Great song. The one after that where the First Time in Forever where she's talking about opening the doors. That's a good song. Awesome song. The Love is an Open Door. Great song. So far the songs are I felt like they're very internally consistent. They had the similar sort of style to them. And then we get a pop song.
Which one's the pop song?
Which one do you think?
Oh.
It's Olaf's song.
No.
No.
What are you talking about?
That comes out later.
That's way later.
That's
also.
way later.
Wait,
We're talking about the biggest.
He's going in
song,
order from songs.
The biggest
Let It
song.
Go.
Yes.
No.
In order,
Right?
Which
Like,
we're going to Chrono. Okay.
I mean, like, yeah, like Let It Go. Is it a good song? Sure. Right. I guess. I like the verses.
yeah, the verses
I like
are
that the verses have interesting chord changes. It's very lush sounding, and I know I'm kind of getting music-y, but like it's got a good melody. Then you get to the chorus, and it's just the most lazy, pandering. It's that chord progression, the 1 5 6 4 chord progression
It's the hook.
with the 3 notes. It's the whole thing. It seems like only 3 or 4 notes. It's really just lackluster, and it felt to me like they were clearly just trying to make that big hit. They wanted to hit the radio. They wanted to pander to the audience or whatever. It just didn't impress me. And with the rest of the songs prior being so strong, I was just like, oh, come on, really? Like, by the time that came around, and obviously everyone knew Let It Go was the big song even before they went in the theaters. Like, everyone knew about it. So I was waiting for it, and then I was like, oh gosh, like, that was it? I don't know. I don't know. It's fine. Then what's after that? They have Kristoff has a short dumb song, which is fine.
Like about with the reindeer.
Yeah, with the reindeer, which
Everybody loves a reindeer or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, and that was whatever. And it's not a bad song. In Summer needs to go. That song, it just has to go. There's it's not. I don't find it very funny. I don't like. Was it Josh Gad?
Yeah.
I don't like him.
Actually, I think that song is a lot fun in the at Disney stage musicals, because if you yell out "puddle" in there,
I saw that video.
Yeah, the singers will get mad at you.
What?
They don't actually get mad at you, but they will get mad at you.
Oh no!
I've only seen it once, but yeah, the person they don't actually say puddle. You know how they stop right before it, and he
Happy
stops.
Snowman.
Yeah, and he's like, "That will make me a," and someone yells puddle, and then you just see the look in his eye where he turns and just goes, no! Honestly, way better than the song. Just his reaction and everything about it.
That would have actually been. I don't know. I mean, I felt like it was this weird detour. Like we're going along the narrative and we're having this great time, and then this dumb.
That's exactly his role in
Idiot.
Frozen 2.
Just to be a dumb idiot the whole time.
Pretty much, he stops the movie every time he comes on.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It just stopped the flow. I was like, why are we talking about the snowman and he's talking about summer? And what does this have to do with anything else that's happening in this film? And then it's just not, and I felt like musically, tonally, it wasn't consistent. Like, it just felt like a different style than the rest of the music. And so it was kind of the same problem with the pop song to me, that I was like, the pop song was great until it got to the chorus. It wasn't consistent with everything else that we had heard previously. Summer just has no place in the film, personally. I don't think so. And then the last one, the Fixer Upper song.
Fixer Upper.
Yeah.
Trolls.
Yeah, right?
No.
Oh!
Yeah. You can't even remember it, right? Because it sucks.
I only remember the Trolls at the beginning, and when they exposit, that's
right.
only. But them singing, I have no memory.
Right. It's not a good song. Like, it's just boring. It's cluttered. Like, there's so many words. It's a bit of a fixer up. It's kind of like somebody trying to say too many words and it's too short of time, and it's a gospel song basically.
Really?
Like,
yeah, I could see that.
It's like kind of a gospel song in the middle of this. Like, I don't know. It's like a Broadway. Like, everything else is Broadway, and then it's like gospel after this weird jazz number by Olaf, and like I just didn't understand what was the point. What the heck? So I don't know. I just didn't like it. I didn't like a lot of facets about that film. And like I said, I don't think the narrative was as tight as it could have been. There was just, anyway. So it's in It's one of my bottom.
one.
We spent so long talking about that.
Well, no, keep going because I only had pretty much one movie on my bottom list,
And he only had one too. So
Okay, what was yours?
Well, besides all the straight to movie sequels, it was Frozen.
Oh.
And Preston's getting probably tired of listening to this, but
no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Why am I tired of it?
I don't know. You kind of had that expression every time we started bashing on Frozen. You look in your eyes kind of changed.
Yeah. I mean, you're valid of your own opinion. Like Frozen 1, I definitely can agree with a lot of it. I don't think it's one of the worst, but it definitely was overhyped by far. But Frozen 2, I actually found enjoyable. And
yeah, I've heard a lot of people are split. Like you either like Frozen 2 a lot more, or you really just don't like it. And especially the soundtrack. I've heard a lot of people split on the soundtrack.
Yeah, pretty much every song that Elsa sings is trying to be Let It Go.
Yeah.
They actually do bash on Let It Go.
Yeah,
that's what I hear.
I was very mixed on that joke.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll definitely watch it at some point.
Yeah, it's something that, like, honestly, you may not like it, but it's like there's movies you have to watch just because everybody talks about them anyways, or like kids talk about them, and you just gotta know about them, or else you're sitting there like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so you had Frozen.
It was Frozen, and the main reason, I was a freshman in high school, so 2013, 2012, is that when it came out?
Oh my gosh.
I think it was 2013.
2013.
Yeah, he's right.
Oh my gosh. Just hearing that's just
Oh, you
weird.
realize you're old now, Skylar?
No, yeah, I remember that coming out, and every girl I knew just sang the songs on repeat.
Yeah, but then, I guess the main thing that ruined it for me, everyone was hyping up the movie, like, oh, it's such a good movie. Oh, they've never done this before. Oh, this. I was always hearing was hype for 6 months.
Yeah.
And then I go to El Salvador, right? And I watched the movie over there, but in Spanish.
Let It Go in Spanish?
Yeah. And then I was like, so I just my niece was obsessed with the movie at the time too.
Yeah.
So I ended up watching it. I'm like, I might as well figure out why people are obsessing over it. And I watch it. I'm like, at the end of it, I'm like, this is maybe a 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
5 out of 10 movie, 6.5 out of at best. I'm like, why was everyone so obsessed with this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I guess because of all that hype, and then the kind of me self-brooding over there in another country 6 months later, I'm like, there was no reason for anyone to be this hype about this movie. It was meh. The musics were the songs were the songs were good. Let It Go was just annoying to me. I heard it to death at that point.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, none of the characters were memorable to me besides Anna and Elsa.
You know what I think part of it is that it's not a typical, well, obviously it's not a typical Disney princess film because it's not the whole I end up with the thing and one of the princesses doesn't even end up with anybody and or both of them don't, but one of them doesn't even try, right? But it's like you put two princesses and two prince or love interest type characters in the film, right? You made them all kind of different looking. You had the burly guy and you had the sideburns guy and you had, the brown haired or the red haired girl and the white, platinum blonde girl and sort of it kind of had, you had got double in the film, right? So maybe that's what it was, is that there's twice as many characters to obsess over.
See, and the thing, I agree with David on this, that it was so overhyped where people were like, oh, it's the first time a sister love movie has been shown. It's like, do you know about Lilo and Stitch?
Yeah.
Or, why did I not put Lilo and Stitch in my top 3?
It's okay.
Yeah. I take it back. That would definitely be a close for a top 3.
Right above my band.
The first, I like the opening song.
Wait, what?
Right above, I completely missed it. I have it written.
He has Lilo and Stitch in his notes for bad movie. Okay.
No, best movie.
Oh, best movie. Oh, I thought that said
crappy
that.
handwriting.
I do not have my glasses on. I apologize.
The Hawaiian roller coaster ride at the beginning, the song is so good. It's just such a feel good moment.
No, so yeah, I would definitely say Lilo and Stitch is one of the best.
Yeah. But the sister dynamic.
Yeah, but as a sister dynamic and everything, and then people are like, oh, or you have a fierce princess type. I'm like, do you know Mulan?
Yeah.
And there's so many of these things where it's like, you guys are just pointing out stuff that's already happened in previous
Yeah.
Disney movies, trying to say, oh, it's the first time. It's not.
Even like Brave was kind of before that.
It was Pixar.
And Brave, but I didn't like Brave. I liked the aesthetics of Brave, but I was not enamored with the story.
Remember Brave all that
It
well.
was enjoyable. I think I've only seen it once.
Fate, would you?
Yeah, I actually really just like the accents and everything. I'm
Yeah,
like, oh.
yeah.
I
felt
right there.
I felt like that.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I like it. the
on your
accent.
kink.
Yeah. Anyway.
Like I said, I like voice actors,
Yeah,
and it was a good voice acting choice of everything. Everybody was very on spot because
Yeah.
bad voice acting is just the equivalent to bad acting in a movie. And some people are like usually can oversee bad voice acting, but I can't because it's just like no, if you can't act. That's the same. Like if you cannot act using only your voice, you're bad acting.
Yeah. No, that's true. Oh man. Okay, so you've done your bottom. Yeah. No, I mean I know I ranted about Frozen for I don't even know, probably way too long. Probably too long. But like so I will say like Preston, you had Home on the Range. I remember watching that a lot as a kid, and I think that there was probably a lot of lost potential in the film. I don't remember much about it, so it probably is one of the not so good ones out there. Man, I think Chicken Little is my least favorite.
Oh my gosh.
Chicken Little.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I watched it one time. I watched it in the theaters, and I don't remember liking a single thing about it. I mean, nothing about that film was appealing to me. I remember being angry. This sounds weird. This is a dumb story. I remember being angry when I picked up my copy of Kingdom Hearts 2 and I looked on the back and I saw Chicken Little on the back because he's one of the summons. In Kingdom Hearts
Wait, did you think it was a whole world?
No, but I was just like, what the heck? Why would they put this stupid movie in the game? Like, what did Chicken Little even bring to the Disney table like that was warranted to bringing it into the Kingdom Hearts canon? Like, I don't know. That's a dumb story, like I said. But I just remember like really detesting that.
I just remember that Adam West was in the movie for a bit.
Oh
yeah. See, that movie I felt like tried to be more of a comedy and like kind of capture that Emperor's New Groove comedy vibe that it had and grab a little bit of the sci-fi that they've done. So they tried putting a bunch of stuff into one movie, and then they're like, animal movies have worked, space movies have worked, comedy has worked, put them all in one. And that's how like Chicken Little was just made.
That impersonation.
But you know,
it's Zootopia and Beastars with no society.
Yeah, with no society whatsoever. It's ugly. It's bad. It's a bad looking film. Like even the stills, like look at some of the stills and it's just like, this disgusting duck looking character that's like just looks shiny. Like it doesn't even look like feathers. It just looks like this weird shiny thing.
It doesn't help that everyone in the movie is a complete utter jerk to each other.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, like Chicken Little is just hated because he made a mistake. Everyone in town just hates him. And there's no, like his dad even is kind of a jerk to him too.
Kind of? Yeah. Oh, no, like huge.
Not kind of, he's a huge jerk.
I'd have to watch it again, but that would require me removing my brain and putting it in a jar so I wouldn't have to remember it. I don't know. I don't remember anything enjoyable about the film. It's ugly looking, and it's not like, like Rango, right? Rango had ugly characters, but I love the character designs. I just thought like they were so ugly in this realistic way, and they had character. Like you could see, you knew what this character was kind of like by looking at him or something, right? I liked that about Rango. Rango had a great story. Rango had a great soundtrack. It had awesome action. It was really funny. Chicken Little had none of. I mean, of course, years later, right? Years Rango was like 2011. That was probably 6 years later or something. I don't even know when Chicken Little was made.
I feel like that was early.
I feel like 2006.
Might have been no. It was like 2002 maybe.
Yeah,
no,
you think that?
No,
really?
Are you talking about Rango or Chicken?
No, Chicken Little.
Chicken Little.
Oh, Chicken Little, like early maybe to mid 2000.
Maybe it might have been like 2004 at the latest.
I was thinking.
No,
Rango
that was Lilo and Stitch and Treasure Planet was 2004.
Yeah, but I think that it wasn't made. I don't think it was made after those, because Valiant was 2005, and that wasn't technically a Walt Disney film. That was another studio.
Valiant?
Yeah, Valiant.
It was about a bird that like was taking a message and
Like
everything.
World War II birds.
Yeah.
You pulled that out of my
I
brain.
think it came before Valiant, and so I think it was around that 2002 to 2004, and it was Disney's first 3D film, like fully 3D, right? Because they saw the success of Toy Story, and they're like, oh, we should do that, right? And it just didn't land. I don't know. I don't like it. And it's only in my bottom because I'm just like, I have no desire to rewatch this. I would rewatch Dinosaur before I rewatched Chicken Little. And Dinosaur is like ostensibly just not a good film. Like, has bad acting.
Is this your next pick?
It has sort of. I mean, it has bad scripting. It's just not interesting. But it was kind of like Final Fantasy Spirits Within. I don't know if you've ever heard of that or seen that.
No.
I watched a YouTube video on the production of
Yeah.
that, so.
And it's like Spirits Within, even today, it was made in like 2001 or 2002. It still looks pretty impressive. Like, it doesn't look all that bad. It's held up for almost 20 years as a CGI film that has like realistic looking people. That's pretty crazy, right? I think that Dinosaur actually does look a little ahead of its time. Even now you can look at it and say like, it looks pretty good. No. But most of the scenery is really drab, not interesting. The character designs are terrible. The monkeys are awful.
The monkeys are kind of terrifying.
They're just bad. Yeah, nothing about. So I don't know. It's got dumb jokes. It's just anyway. So but I would rewatch that film. I would rewatch Home on the Range. I would rewatch Dumbo or Frozen before I ever rewatch Chicken Little. It needs to go.
We should watch Chicken Little on your birthday.
No. It's not happening.
We're gonna tie you down and
if
make you watch
if you get me really drunk, which I mean I haven't done that in a long time anyway, so not into it. So not about it. Okay, so let's kind of talk about some other sort of tops that we have in our stories. So I think we can go over maybe like best characters or best music or whatever. Actually, let's start with just some characters. Like, who do you think is the best like princess character? Is it just going to be Rapunzel? Can we just like
No, I'm actually thinking.
Mulan for me, I guess.
She's not a princess, is she?
Technically, yes.
Technically, yes.
Technically.
I mean, very technically.
They do include her in the princess. Like, if you see the princess lineup or in Wreck-It Ralph 2, she's in it.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
What? Tom
but she's not really like a princess.
She's a princess for
right,
marketing reasons.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
I know why.
Like, she didn't marry a prince, but she is a Disney princess.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Girl, she's a queen.
Oh.
I just said that.
I know, but you didn't say it loud enough.
Screw you.
I'm gonna say Jasmine from Aladdin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Why? Because she's got the midriff. You can see her stomach.
Maybe half of the reason. Maybe half the reason.
Okay. Yeah, she's the hypersexualized. Of course, they don't sexualize the white women. You know how it is. Those sexist Disney people. Anyway.
But yeah, Rapunzel, definitely.
Rapunzel.
I'm gonna say Aladdin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Aladdin.
I meant Jasmine.
Yeah.
We already agreed one Disney prince is a princess, so you can't do this to other ones.
And by the way, I'm not talking about live action Jasmine. She was kind of cringy.
Yeah, the whole what was that song? Her original song?
Speechless.
Yeah, it was dumb. It was a dumb song.
She was just down and seeing everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't that interesting, entertaining. I thought the CGI in that remake just looked like bad. It just looked low budget. I don't know. I mean, we can talk about the remakes.
Yeah.
We can have a whole podcast about
Just
that.
a remake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we do that, we need Chris here.
Yeah.
So once we get to the Lion King, me and him could just talk crap about it.
Oh, I haven't even watched it. The only remakes I've seen, I think, are the Cinderella one when I watched it in Japanese because I was in Japan.
Oh.
When so I don't. Yeah, I didn't. I don't think I understood a lot of what was happening.
Actually, in all kind of like in terms of the remakes, I think Cinderella is one of the better ones.
Yeah, it wasn't offensive looking to me at the time. I thought the oh my gosh, the Beauty and the Beast one. That
Emma Watson.
That one was bad.
Oh, Belle created the dishwasher. Create the what's it? The washing machine.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man, I kind of remember that. Man, I don't know, man. She was just like she had a just a stiff as a board performance. She's not good at whatever that role was. You know, playing the really pretty. No, she just nope. It's not your game. Sorry, just not there. Anyway, what about like what's your favorite villain?
Scar. I mean, the guy has a killer song, and like his motives aren't all there. Like quite like why would you overthrow your lion pack? Like it doesn't quite make sense, but
Power.
yeah,
Power.
and it originally comes down to that. It's just power and spite. Like he just does it to do it. And like I think but just the performance by Jeremy Irons is amazing. The voice acting, the animation, the fight at the end, everything about him is so good. So yeah, I would go with Scar.
Yeah. No, he's good. I like his interactions with Simba when he's a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of like trying to like go away. You
Yeah,
know,
like he
sort of
doesn't
thing.
want to kill him. Like obviously Scar's evil, but he's like, I just killed my brother. Like you're not in this. Like just get out, take the bullet. Like you're gonna say you've done this. You're gonna go be fine with a meerkat, and just he's gonna be your dad. So
My favorite Disney villain is Frollo from.
That's mine too.
where
Oh.
when he sings about his lustful intentions.
Oh,
That is
man.
a great song.
Oh, we were going to talk about that later for sure. Definitely. But
let's talk.
we'll
We'll
hold
talk
up-
about that.
we'll hold off on that. Yeah. But yeah, Frollo is mine too. Just amazing.
He's a great villain.
So evil. You just want to
I'm
hate
blanking
him.
out here.
who,
Who's
who,
Frollo?
who did his
Hunchback from
voice?
the Notre Dame.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Hellfire.
Was it
Yeah.
also Jeremy Irons?
No,
No, it's
no.
not Jeremy Irons.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
What about you, David?
No, Skylar said my villain right now. Frollo.
Oh,
Oh wow, 3 Frollos.
dang. Frollo's just
He's a good.
he's
a good
bad.
villain,
He's
yeah.
bad, bro.
Man, they're gonna really tone him down in the eventual remake.
Yeah, it's just they're gonna remake.
Are they
that
going to
one.
be able to remake it, or are they just waiting for the actual? Place
Yeah,
to
because
be
Notre
rebuilt?
Dame burned down already.
Oh.
So
They're like, we're gonna wait a while on that. So
yeah, maybe that was part of the filming process.
That's for the
that's
Hellfire.
that's
you know,
in this. Oh,
Hellfire song, you know?
yeah, you just see them. Oh no, we lit it on fire.
Move out!
We didn't do it.
Into the catacombs, everybody.
Don't get lost.
Anyway, yeah, okay. So that's it's funny we all have sort of similar villains. I think other villains that definitely deserve like another look. Mother Gothel is great.
Yeah. What's his name? Jafar.
Jafar is
Yeah,
good.
Jafar's
I mean,
good.
there's a lot of good villains in all these movies.
I think that's one of the Disney's really strong points is just making villains you want to hate.
Ursula is good too.
Yeah.
I really like
And
Ursula.
like even
Yeah.
Cruella de Vil, just like even
Yeah.
her like intro song, Cruella de Vil.
with Ursula, I kind of wish they kept the deleted scene where it's revealed that she's the king's sister. Yeah, there's a deleted scene where it's revealed that Ursula and King Triton are
Was
brother.
there like an affair
Oh.
or something? Why does she have octopus body and everybody
know.
else is fish?
Well, if we go by Greek mythology,
Yeah.
King Triton is a demigod.
True.
Yeah.
Well,
So Poseidon is related to Zeus. So
Yeah. Yeah. The libido's there.
yeah. You're kind of talking about the best villain and the best princess, but what about just best characters that we just love?
Yeah, Kronk.
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 He's definitely the best henchman character
Oh, easy. Yeah.
for sure.
Can some,
And
he
it's
pulls
Spanish-
a lever very well.
that gag never gets old.
No.
Oh, the lever, Kronk. Wrong lever.
He's got so much character to him. He's a bumbling idiot, but he's like the bad guy, but you like him.
Well, like at the end of the movie, you're just like, is he the bad guy or is he just helping a friend out?
Well, no, clearly he's not the bad. Right, that's the whole joke, right?
Yeah,
he's not even smart enough to really be malicious.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just see it as if someone like came up to you and was like, "You want to add a buddy?" Well, I don't know about that, but let me help you out. And you just kind of like fell into it like that.
What about dessert? We don't have time for dessert. But of coffee? Okay, a quick cup of coffee.
Or like, it's just, what's that?
Take him out of town and finish the job.
Yeah, and it's like, what's that burning? Oh, my spinach puffs. Like, he's so good.
I liked your spinach puffs. Never.
By the way, binging with Babish, watch it. Make Crunk spinach puffs. They are delicious.
Oh, you made some?
Oh yeah, they're incredible.
Oh, they look so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, David? What's one of the best Disney characters?
Best Disney character.
Yeah.
I'm blanking out on the Hunchback. The Hunchback.
So Frollo or the actual
no, the
Hunchback?
actual Hunchback.
Yeah.
Quasimodo.
Quasimodo. Thank you.
Almost human.
Almost human.
Luckily, he didn't get the actual book ending of his character.
Yeah.
He dies, right?
He basically buries himself alive with the girl.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she dies and they bury her, but he digs her out and goes in there and
Oh.
and someone digs up and sees two bodies, two skeletons in there.
Huh.
Yeah, it's really dark.
One of these days I might have to read it, but never.
See, I think I have two of the best characters. One, Stitch. Because, like, kind of the first sidekick to be the main character. Like, by all means, he should be a sidekick arc. And he just is this lovable, amazing thing that barely speaks but can carry the whole movie. Like, it doesn't make sense. It shouldn't have worked, but it worked perfectly. Was amazing.
Well, Lilo and Stitches because of Winn-Dixie with aliens.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know what that is, but sure.
It's a you get a dog and the dog changes your life.
Yeah.
Sort of film.
Yeah,
right?
and I mean it's great and he's fun and like even in the beginning where he's just like apparently just is screaming a curse word and everyone's like
yeah.
And you're like, "Oh."
Well, do you remember the viral marketing campaign?
Oh yeah, where they put him
great.
They put him in all the different like classic scenes and like he came and ruined it all.
Yes, and it was awesome.
It was just a great because he was like this raunchy, terrible gremlin thing that just came around and ruined everything.
Yeah.
He was the Avatar of Chaos, man.
It was a great movie. And then the other one is just Flynn Rider. I mean,
Yeah.
one of the best written characters. I mean, the entire movie, he's so suave and like nothing like freaks him out where it's like, your hair is glowing. Why is your hair glowing? And like, he's so calm, but the moment, like they say so true in the writing with him, the moment that Rapunzel's taken away and he's going to prison, like he knocks out a guard and like screams at one of the other guys that he was with in the film at the beginning of the film. And it's like, you see, oh, he actually cares for this first time for this girl. And this is the first time that he's losing his cool. It's just everything about him flows really well.
Yeah.
There's not like one flaw and like, oh, that goes against his like archetype. No, everything flows perfectly.
Now, I mean, I'll have to make an admission. I've watched the Tangled show, the TV show, and it's actually pretty good. And it's just Flynn Rider being goofy the whole show. And it's actually, I mean, I rarely like laugh out loud watching something by myself, but Flynn's character and his characterization like in the show is perfect. It's just like they make him a little dumber, but he's a great character. You get to see this transformation of kind of the rogue to the good guy, and he has a great arc. You see sort of, I like when two characters are both moving in a direction. They're changing into less naive. Rapunzel's a little less naive and becomes more worldly, and he becomes attached to something that's not money or whatever. So like that's a great sort of story where two characters change each other.
Good old Eugene.
Good old Eugene.
Eugene.
Eugene Fitzherbert.
Actually, this one's kind of surprising. I say Jim Hawkins from Treasure Planet.
How's that surprising? He's a lovable character.
He's great.
But in all honesty, he has a really good story arc.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's that.
I know he's the main character and all, and he has to have a good story arc.
Yeah.
But he really does have a good one.
Right. I love the relationship he has with was it no, what's the
Davy Long
Jones.
John Silver.
Long John, yeah. His where it's kind of his dad archetype, and you really feel like it's not a musical, but when that music video comes on in the middle of the movie,
I'm still here.
Yes,
amazing song. Yes.
Man, and you feel like it just feels like they've actually built up this tension. And in the Disney musical tradition, characters start singing when words aren't enough to express the way they feel, and they start dancing when the singing is not enough. And so I think that Tarzan, was the first film to kind of break free of that. And Tarzan is not really a musical, right? Because nobody on screen sings except for the first line of...
Are you forgetting about the apes scene where they're all playing in the
but
camp?
They don't
thrash in the camp.
But they don't really sing, and it's not really about anything. It was just Rosie O'Donnell wanted to do a music thing in the movie. Like that was literally the only reason it was there. I mean, it's fun, right? But other than the first few lines of "You'll Be in My Heart" being sung by the mom character, the rest is just Phil Collins' disembodied voice singing over the movie. Yep. So it's not really a musical, right? And so this film kind of follows that tradition where people actually criticize Tarzan a lot for that because they were saying, "Oh, it takes all the emotion away," which is partially true. I think it lost something by not being truly a musical. And Tarzan is the last film in the Disney Renaissance. And arguably for that reason. And
fun fact. Who's the main villain in Tarzan again?
Clayton.
In the books, him and Tarzan are cousins.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I think their dads were brothers because they have the same last name.
Tarzan Ooga
Ape
Booga?
cheeks.
No, I don't remember Tarzan's birth name or his English name.
Huh.
It was John something.
Cena.
Actually, I think it's Actually, I think it is John Clayton. John Clayton.
Oh, really?
I think they just called him Clayton.
Oh, I see.
But in the books, they're actually cousins.
Huh? Are they still rivals in the book, or?
Kind of.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to read the book, but But anyway, that whole "I'm Still Here" scene with Jim Hawkins, it's just great, and it solidifies that you care about Long John Silver, you're invested in the characters, and
I know nobody liked Long John Silver's. Oh wait, wrong thing.
Well, only old folks do apparently.
I swear there's a secret society in America that keeps them open.
Dude, it's the retirement homes.
Yep.
The buses take them straight there. I'm not even joking. I've seen
really?
it. Yeah, like there's a bus that comes from one of the old folks home in Merced.
The Hampshire?
Yeah, I think it's from the Hampshire. They go straight to Long John Silver's like every day.
Nice.
What is it? Treasure Island, the book.
Yeah.
What is it? What's his name? The guy who did directed the Transformer.
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay produced a prequel series called Black Flag.
Oh.
It was a Showtime show, so it was a lot violent. So I'm kind of thinking with Long John Silver and Treasure Planet, kind of having a similar backstory within that universe.
I would watch like a miniseries, like a Disney Plus miniseries that's like Long John Silver in this like space pirate sort of thing.
Like pre-cyborg days.
Yeah. I would watch that. That'd be great. Like where he's thinner too, because he's like a weird looking. He's such a weird looking fat.
Don't
slob.
fat shame. Okay.
And also, he was the first character to ever be both CGI and hand drawn.
That's true. Yeah, and it blends so well. Mm-hmm. I mean, some of the like the spaceport, the moon spaceport, kind of looks a little dated now. Like if you watch that scene, and it's just not as polished as it would be today.
Yeah, but I mean, at the time, it was like blew your mind,
right?
Because it was like, whoa!
And even like the ship and the rigging and all, it's great. I mean, it's just it still holds up very well.
Actually, here's one thing: I don't actually consider Treasure Planet to be science fiction because science fiction implies that some of this stuff could actually.
Oh, it's science fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I consider it more like it's a fantasy with some sci-fi elements.
Yeah, it's a kind of a space opera-y type of thing, you know. Yeah, I mean that's a great, and that's something we could even go over this on underrated films.
Yeah,
I think it's potentially the most underrated Disney film.
Yeah.
Easily.
I hope Disney never makes a live action movie.
Of it?
Yeah, of it.
Yeah, I mean, there would be what's the point, right?
No, like they would have to change it, and like that's just down to it. Like I've seen people say like live action Atlantis, and I can actually get behind that one.
I could see that.
But Treasure Planet is one of those things where it's like
I just tell everybody just re-release it in theaters.
The only thing with Treasure Planet is Ben.
Yep.
Ben is so annoying. I want to turn the film off when Ben comes on screen.
I think in the book Treasure Island, he's not even likable in there too.
No, he's just a crazy old man.
Yeah.
In the original, but he's so minor. I mean, he's only there for a very short portion of the story. Because I mean, it's even past like the halfway point that they introduce Ben, if I recall.
Yeah.
So he's really not there for long, and he's just a thing. He's just a narrative, tool to get the characters to the treasure trove, basically.
Oh, here's something I didn't notice in Treasure Planet, that the planet has an X over it. I did not notice that. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah. There's so many little design elements in that are just so great.
Especially like the transition scene in the beginning where it shows Jim under the covers, then it goes into the...
Did you watch the Bread Sword video?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for anybody listening, and I don't know if you guys have watched, there's a YouTuber named Bread Sword, and he makes really, really good video essays on movies. He's done one on, his first one I think was on Treasure Planet.
I don't know.
He did one on the Black Cauldron that I also recommend, and he makes a really good argument for the Black Cauldron being like a tragedy of the production hell of Disney, and that it could have been way, way, way better than it was. And I mean, we can go into that too, but he does one on how Bug's life is just the Seven Samurai, and he makes a case. So he makes a really good case for a lot of these films. He does get a little kind of preachy sometimes, but he makes just really good content. And by the end of these videos, you're always like, oh gosh, like I just feel different about the thing. He makes good arguments. So I would recommend anybody to check out Bread Sword's content on these movies. But that transition at the beginning, where he even points out it's like smooth as butter, and I'm like, yeah, it's like really good. Where it does that, the exposition, and then just goes straight. Yeah,
there's one video you should not watch it. It's the Nostalgia Critics review. It's not his reason for not liking it is the designs.
Really?
That's it?
Yeah, he doesn't like it because the spaceships look like ships.
Oh,
it's just
that's the point.
That's the point.
It's everybody, even the comments are like, that's a really dumb argument to not like this.
There was in the middle of kind of doing a little research for this podcast, I watched a couple videos just to like see people's opinions about the worst Disney films, and all the lists were like, this movie made no money. Yeah. How bad, it was such a bad film. It made no money. And I'm like, the whole comment section, I was at least glad. I was like, that does not make it a bad film.
No, like some cult classics you see, like they were just box office bombs like Sandlot. Sandlot didn't make money.
Oh, really?
And yeah, you look at it now, and it's a cult classic film that everybody has seen. Princess Bride, same thing.
Really? Princess Bride?
Oh yeah, no money.
Oh.
The marketing departments did not know what to do with it.
Yeah. And so you have these films, and saying that a movie, just because it didn't make money on its initial run, it's terrible, because it's like it can still be a great film, but it just was overlooked. And Treasure Planet definitely is one of those. And I've had someone give me that argument before when I'm like, oh yeah, Treasure Planet. And they're like, oh, it's a terrible movie. And it's like, you watched it? No, I've never seen it. You can't say that then.
Personally, I actually think that Atlantis, The Lost Empire, is the most overrated, underrated film.
Oh my gosh.
I understand that, but I know I understand.
Right.
I get what you're saying.
I know what you mean, because it's definitely an underrated film that everybody loves. So like the hard Disney fanatics are into it, and if they're gonna recommend you a quote unquote underrated film, it's going to be that one.
Right. And I just don't think the narrative is strong. It has cool characters. I like the cast, right? It's kind of like almost an ensemble sort of a thing. Mm-hmm. You know, you've got Doc, and you've got the explodey guy, and you got the mole dude, and you got the spunky Latina chick or whatever. And they're all like great, kind of memorable, fun characters. Milo Thatcher's cool. Kira's okay. He's not as cool as the JoJo Kira.
Yeah, he's not. Not Kira from Death Note. Yeah.
That too. Yeah, he's cool too. But you know, it's like the one thing that I always remember is, so they get to Atlantis, and Milo Thatcher, he's like a not an archaeologist. What is he?
He's kind of an archaeologist, historian,
like a linguist too.
Yeah, he's a mix of a lot of stuff. Basically,
maybe he's an anthropologist. Maybe
like everything though about him is just about Atlantis. Like everything he knows is geared towards that.
So he goes there, learns Atlantean in like literally 30 seconds, right? Yeah. They like start talking to him, and he's like, "Oh, they're the root language, and every language comes from it, and I can speak all those, of course." So he like learns their language immediately, and then Kira comes up to him, and he can't pronounce her name. He's like Kilagashnash.
What?
She's like Kiragakash or whatever is her name. I don't remember exactly. And he's like Kilagashnash, and she's like, "Haha, you're so silly. You can't even say my name." And I'm like, "You learned a dead language in 30 seconds, and you can't pronounce a girl's, like, I get the joke is like, oh, haha, it's like a meet cute. He can't talk to her because he's nervous or whatever. But like, no,
it might have worked.
Hold up, I've been there where the words stop, the brain stops. So I understand that point where it's like, it's not he can't say the name and learn the language. It's literally like, oh, I like her. Brain broke.
I get it, but come on.
Maybe it would have been better if he didn't know the language that well. Maybe like he was still kind of learning it throughout the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just think that there were things that, especially like the second half of the film, feels a little rushed to me. I like the bad guys. I like the kind of industrialist dude and the hot chick, or you know, whatever. They're cool. I love the weird plane things that they launch off of the cars, like all that, the World War I era futurism sort of stuff, really cool. The aesthetics are unmatched. I mean, and
this is my favorite kind of aesthetic in terms of,
it's great. I mean, it's that like World War I steampunk, or like it's more like diesel punk actually. Mm-hmm. It's great, but I just think story narrative wise, it falls really flat. I mean, like there's stunning scenes like where Kira like walks on the water to like touch the crystal thing, really cool looking. The way that the guy dies. By the way, we can talk about this. Every Disney villain dies by falling.
And so they can indirectly show, like, Scar gets eaten by hyenas, Mother Gothel like disintegrates, Clayton hangs himself. They all fall, but to a different death. It's not falling.
Well, yeah, but
it's
like
something. It's so they can kind of hide the fact.
Except for Gaston,
Yeah, that's definitely he just falls into
also-
who did nothing wrong.
Also, what's his name? What's her name? The evil stepmother from Snow White.
Does she
fall?
Yeah, she falls.
It's been so long since
I watched it yesterday. She falls. She falls.
She fails.
She falls.
She fails.
She's
She
trying-
fails.
She's trying to She's trying to push the boulder down onto the dwarves who are coming up to her,
Oh,
and then
Oh, I remember this.
the
now,
cliff crumbles under her, and she falls. But also the boulder comes with her too.
oh
So-
gosh.
So she gets crushed.
Well, we don't see it.
I
And
don't-
that's what I'm saying. It's all because they
They
fall to
and
get
then
away.
Something else.
And, something kills
and that's
them
what happens to the dude. He turns into a crystal
and falls.
and he falls into the blades of the weird like helicopter thing that they're in, and
Yeah.
he gets shattered.
well, and that's what I'm
Oh
saying.
man, that's
It's
real.
super dark. But like nobody actually falls, like maybe one person, but most people fall and something else gets them. It's so they can move them off the screen and kill them with something else.
Right.
And like there's even deaths in Treasure Planet.
Oh, Hades.
Hades falls into the
Hades
river
gets
Styx.
thrown into the Lake of Souls. Yeah,
I don't
they're-
think he
Was
technically
it the river
the river
dies though.
Styx or whatever. Yeah.
He doesn't technically.
He can't die because he's
but
immortal.
He's gonna be there a while.
Right.
Yeah, it's a nuisance to him.
That's his defeat, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
but in Treasure
fails.
Planet, there is a guy who falls, but upwards and
Yeah, he
dies
falls
that way.
upwards.
So I don't
Yeah.
know if that's technically falling or just floating off into the abyss.
that's falling.
So
That's for sure. That's a fall of death. That's a falling
with-
death.
with the
Frollo dies by falling.
Yeah, he does.
With
They all die.
no,
Yeah,
Frollo
no.
does die from falling, but he
Into
is
fire.
but he is intentionally like pushed by like a demon or something.
Well, so the gargoyle comes alive and it freaks him out, and he like either it lets go or he it's not really certain.
Yeah.
I don't think, but he slips off and he falls into the inferno and dies.
So
Look,
I
if the
mean,
fall doesn't kill him, the
for all
fire's
we know, though, is he lived the fall and died in a fire.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Is
but
it
they fall
something-
to their death.
Yeah, something else though probably kills them.
Right.
It's never the falling.
Who else? No, Jafar just gets sucked into the.
Jafar gets sucked into a
And then
lamp.
he gets team rocketed. That's
Yeah.
what happens.
And Keith David's character and
David's
Princess
character.
Frog gets
He gets
eaten
sucked-
by demons.
he gets sucked to the other
Yes.
side. That's
so.
not a
I mean,
fall.
I guess he
His-
falls into the
That's not a
void.
fall. No.
he gets sucked by his friends to the other side.
Oh.
Oh. Oh. Like he's playing for the other team now? Is that what you're saying?
Oh.
Anyway. Yeah, so I just thought that was funny that like a lot of the Disney villains die by falling, essentially.
You know, I've seen so many Disney villain movies, and none clicked until you said that, and I started playing in my head like, "Oh my gosh!"
Even in the Great Mouse Detective, the main villain
Uh-huh.
falls.
Because
What?
he falls down the clock tower,
Yeah.
right?
But did
Yeah.
something else get him?
Radigan? Well, he probably got crushed by cogs or something.
And say once again, you can't die by falling. It has to be fall to the thing that's gonna kill you.
But Radigan's kind of like a Moriarty type of
Yeah.
character, and Moriarty expressly does not die when he falls to his death. He comes back to life.
I actually really want someone to make a Disney parody and how the villain dies, and the whole joke is that he falls, something kills him, but he's still alive, and I don't know how.
Isn't that would be like? Wouldn't that just be like King Crimson's death in JoJo Part 5? Basically, he just keeps falling to his death and not
and
dying.
I mean, now Disney doesn't even like kill their villains. Like Hans is punched in the face and like, "You're bad, bye."
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's why Frozen sucks.
Hey,
They don't kill
well,
anybody.
how do you think Hans would have died?
Hans.
well,
Yeah.
they punched him off the boat, right?
Technically fell. Yeah, he fell.
So he fell not to his death, but he was defeated by falling.
Hans could have fallen through the ice and then been like frozen under the
Oh
lake
gosh!
and then just frozen under there.
Oh.
That would have been so cool. That would have been a great villain death.
Would have redeemed the movie.
It would
a little
have been.
bit,
It really
yeah.
would have. Yeah.
And then that's when they do the whole say the title of the movie in the movie, and they're like, I guess he's frozen.
No, it would be how Peter Griffin would. He said it.
He said it. Oh, yeah. I remember that. Yeah. Anyway, that falling thing. I don't know why I didn't notice that for so many years, and then I was like, wait a minute, hold on, something's going on here.
We need a Disney movie to do that.
I know. Yeah, they need to like parody it at some point.
Well, I mean, like Disney for the last couple of years have parodies themselves, where like Eugene, I'm not singing, like, or you have like Kristoff of like. You fell in love with someone on the first day, or all these other lines that like they've acknowledged, like, okay, this was dumb. So yeah. Sense.
Wait, how does King Candy die? Is that his name, King Candy?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I think he technically like glitches out. I don't know. Like it's hard to say how he dies because the game that they were in like falls apart, and I think he just is in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Because he was Turbo. Because he was that classic that they started doing now of like the villain is hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, yeah. Every villain in a Disney film is now a twist villain.
Yeah.
Which is just so.
It's
tiresome.
become a big episode of Scooby-Doo.
It's tiresome. Yeah, it really is. Old man McGuffin or whatever. You know, it's always.
It's kind of like if they did that with the remakes, it would be really dumb.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Basically, hidden the villain in the remakes.
Yeah, like, who's the villain in The Lion King? Scar's just walking around.
Scar's with him the whole time. Like, hey, guys.
Guys?
Why don't you fall into that den over there of snakes? Why would I do that, Scar? I don't know.
It's cool.
I'm Jeremy Irons.
All the cool kids are doing
it. No, there was no Jeremy Irons in the remake.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Gosh, man. Cultural vandals, man.
Also, if you ever watch it, just be prepared.
Okay.
Oh, I heard it's not a song. Isn't it just like a spoken word?
No,
basically?
It's a song. It's short, unmemorable, and you will hate yourself afterwards.
You know, this is a good segue. Let's move into music while we're on this.
Yeah. Okay. So, I guess there's really two.
Well. 3. You have like the hero song, the romance song, and the villain song.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's always, but like one of the biggest, there's always the I want song, right? Which is the character saying, I want something more. I want this, I want that, right? You know, Rapunzel says, I want to see the floating lanterns gleam.
Well, that's technically the hero's song.
Well,
but it is actually a whole classification of songs. Like you can type in it on Google and they will show you like the hero. It is a hero song, but it could be a villain too. Just it's like the I want of this, but typically, more of a hero song.
Right. You know, or I want the most famous one is probably the one from The Little Mermaid.
Part of your world.
I want more.
Yeah.
You know.
I want to be where the people are.
Right. She's literally telling the audience what it is that she wants, right? Yeah. We know her motivation. And now there was a song before that. I haven't seen The Little Mermaid.
It's great. You should rewatch it.
Long time. So I'll rewatch it at some point.
Last night I watched a male cover version of it. It was pretty good.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I guess. Little Mermaid, but like backwards. What I just like the dude was just like way too thirsty. If he was like, if Ariel was a dude and he just sees this hot chick on the beach, he'd be like, simp. Like, it just wouldn't. I don't know if it would work the same.
It probably would, but it would be hilarious.
Yeah, it would be pretty funny actually. Yeah. So yeah, there's the I Want song. There's the villain song, and we can go hero song too. I think that's a good one, but I think the I Want is a more classic sort of archetype, and then overall score is sort of what I was looking for. So, who wants to go first? Preston, you go first. I'm not gonna ask you ever again. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I think for best villain song, "Be Prepared" by Scar. It's good. I mean, like even the symbolism that's going on while the song is going, it's obviously a Nazi thing.
The goose stepping.
Yeah, like, it obviously the whole thing has made him Hitler, and it's like, hey, let's give Hitler a song And so that's basically what has happened. And then it's also this whole that it's Shakespearean and everything.
Yeah.
And so the performance is great. I mean, and what's awesome about that song is Jeremy Irons does not sing the whole thing.
He sings like half of it.
Yes. And because he got sick, so Jim Cummings, the voice of one of the hyenas that goes, like literally.
He's also Winnie the Pooh and Tigger.
Yes. So it is Jim Cummings.
And
Yes,
Pete.
Jim
Yeah. Okay. And so he becomes Jeremy Irons, which kind of made me laugh because it's like, if he could do the Jeremy Irons voice, why didn't you just pay him to do this? But it's like, okay.
Jeremy Irons does a great job.
No, yeah, he does.
Jim Cummings just does great impersonations.
Yeah.
He's a great voice actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't the Firefly in the.
He was.
Was he the Firefly?
Yes. The like smooth talking jazz kind of Firefly. Yeah.
You mean the Bayou Firefly?
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was him or not, but it sounded a lot like him.
It is.
I
him.
have to look
He's
up.
actually from that area of the country.
No, I know that.
really?
Yeah, he is.
I've
yeah.
listened to
Oh, that
an
makes
interview with
sense.
him. It's great. Where he actually is just mimicking because he worked on like a crawfish boat in
Yeah.
the summers, and
Okay.
so he's just mimicking like the person that he knew where they talked like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, best villain song. For I Want song, there, like you said, definitely the most famous is Little Mermaid's Part of Your World. But I had to go with now I'm blanking. Go the Distance and Hercules.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Yeah. That whole song, it's great because he's telling you where it's going, and it's that classic Disney montage of like he's getting older. It's showing you stuff while the song's happening.
Yeah.
It's the I Want, but it's also making progress on the story. He's growing up. He's figuring out that he's an actual god. And it's great. Like all of it is great in terms of like you can listen to it on the radio and you would hear it and you're like, oh, this is a great musical song. Like it just fits into like if you're thinking of a great musical song, that's where it is. And for soundtrack, just the whole score, Tarzan. You can't beat it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's not that classic musical sound, but it's also just this amazing Phil Collins put together of like, yes, you have his disembodied voice singing through the movie, but it just carries it so well. And like, if you think of something that you can just put in a CD and just listen to it the entire way, and it just sounds like a Genesis CD. It's so good. So yeah, Tarzan.
Yeah. What about you, Skylar?
Well, my favorite villain song is Hellfire.
Hey.
Please tell me that we didn't all just
Yeah,
choose Hellfire.
yeah.
Oh, come on, it's Hellfire. It's such a good song.
I was going to talk
It's
about
such a
Hellfire.
good song.
Y'all like the horny song.
Oh, heck
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Come on, it's a song about a guy who's pretty much, well, he's not simping.
He's just a religious zealot.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
he's
it's
just
so funny because it's like, it literally is, I want you dead because I'm horny and I can't have you. That's the concept
No.
of the
He
song.
says, either I will have you or you will burn.
Yeah.
Is what it is. But like the thing about that Hellfire song, and part of what makes it so great is one, obviously the themes and the performance is great.
Also,
And
the imagery.
the imagery and everything, especially during, but even without it, you can like feel the imagery. I was listening to it last night, just the audio, and I was like, oh man, it's just gorgeously mixed and it's great. But the pairing with Heaven's Light before it is what makes it so impactful, in my opinion, because you have like Heaven's Light. Well, we can talk about this now, or we can do it later. But in mine, Hellfire's my villain song. Is it yours too,
Yeah, it's
David?
my
So I mean, we can talk about it. But my I Want song is also Heaven's Light, because it's that perfect, peanut butter and jelly pairing where Quasimodo is looking out the window and he's talking about how he sees two lovers and how he's never gonna feel that way. He's never gonna see Heaven's Light the way that they do. He's not gonna be able to go outside even, right? And so he has this longing, right? He doesn't even just want to be like, he doesn't want something fantastic. He just wants to go outside and live and like feel loved. That's all he ever wants in his life. And his performance is just, first of all, the voice actor has this like it's not bombastic. It's not like he doesn't have a huge voice. It's very like subtle. And even when he gets like loud and big, it's still like this very timid sort of pretty voice. I don't know. I just love the performance. It feels very intimate. It feels very authentic, and he just kills it. But that innocent where he just wants that love is contrasted with the lust that, you know, he wants to burn the world down because of love, right? Where the other one, he just wants to see the world. He wants to experience it. It moves over, and it's this religious, pious guy who feels this lust, but he has this, you know, prejudice and all this other, you know, piety and all this crazy stuff going on in his head.
Yep.
That he twists love into this perverted, disgusting thing, and, you know, all he can obsess over is the sexual nature of the gypsy. And, you know, if he can't have her, then he's just going to literally burn everything down. And then that's where they start burning people's houses and obviously all that kind of stuff. And he's like, the guy comes in the middle of the song and says like, oh, the gypsy woman has escaped. And he calls him an idiot. And I'm like, oh my God, like, you know, he's so vitriolic. He's terrible. And the whole part where there's so many movements in the song too, like Heaven's Light is kind of like a 2-part, like it's kind of small and then big. It doesn't really change that much. Then there's the transition with the Latin. I actually don't know what they say there, but it seems like some just kind of a normal Latin chant of some kind. And then when he's saying, it's not my fault, it's in God's plan. And there's the chorus of Tea culpa, you know, you're the culprit. It's like, it's your fault. You're the one that's going to cause all of this to fall apart. I just find that so great. And there's like 3 movements within the whole thing. And the variations on the theme, it within Hellfire, where it kind of moves between a minor and a major. And sometimes it's like weirdly happy sounding, and it will descend into this, it just feels like it's being perverted. Like he has this beautiful melody that gets perverted. I just find it, it's the best. It's the best. I don't know. I could go on, but I'm done with that one.
So my I Want song is I Want to Be King from Lion King.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. It's just a simple one, in all honesty. It's
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
Like the other I Wants are like this emotional, like, I want this, and you can feel the emotion. But him, it's like, I can't wait till my dad dies song.
Pretty much all the other ones are.
Be careful what you wish for.
The other.
Well, doesn't it happen like 5 or 10 minutes before Mufasa dies too?
It's pretty quick.
What is it? The other songs are, how I can put it, are like in a grown up point of view. Whereas I Want to Be King is from a child.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and plus another thing, it's, I say, more selfish in all honesty, because he just wants to be king for the more luxury things.
Yeah, he wants to be king.
Yeah,
he does. It's not about taking care of his subjects and all that kind of stuff, or taking care of the land, or he just wants to be king. Yeah, that's a good point.
Also, I'm gonna do a love song.
Okay.
I Can Show You the World.
Oh,
yeah,
easily.
Yeah. Or Magic, was it Magic Carpet Ride?
No, I Can Show You the World. Or is it Show You the? I think it's
it's A Whole New World.
A Whole New World.
Yeah.
I already tried singing. Don't do it.
Oh, don't give me too much editing, please. No, it's that one can stay in.
The live action one. I say the live action one was okay in terms of, but the original is much better.
Oh, yeah. Easily. I mean, it's so good.
The new one is like auto-tuned so badly. I just couldn't. I listened to it and I was like, wow, that sounds just like a robot singing. I don't like that. But yeah, no, that's a great it's a great romance song. Has the original version of Crystal Clear in it.
Well, I think honestly, probably the best love song out of all the Disney movies.
Yeah, potentially. I mean,
it's the one that gets was it either meme the most?
Yeah.
I saw like a Superman Batman one. basically Superman's flying Batman, and they're silent at first, and Superman slowly starts singing it, and Batman's just like, no, don't.
Please.
What about soundtrack?
Soundtrack. Ooh. Aladdin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah. Solid all around.
I really like You Have a Friend in Me. No, not. Wait a minute.
That's a good one. Yeah.
That's yeah.
No, it's not. You've
Robin
never
Williams.
had a friend like me.
Never had a friend like me.
Yeah.
I was thinking A Friend in Me was
That's Toy Story.
That is, yeah.
I was trying to remember. They both have friends in them.
Randy Newman.
You've got they both got friends in them already.
And
got my magic lamp over here.
and Prince Ali.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
The live action one in terms of Prince Ali is so boring.
Oh yeah, it's not that good.
I only saw like the last half of that film, so I missed a lot of the.
Oh well, the last one of the live action one, the last song, which is "Never Have a Friend Like Me," their own version, is actually pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
It's mostly because it's the movie that the live action Aladdin should have been.
Yeah, because it was more like rap, right? Was that the post credit one?
Yeah,
they went very Bollywood.
They went Bollywood, like hardcore.
Okay,
and it's like. Yeah, that should have been the movie. This whole movie.
Yeah,
instead of trying to do the Robin Williams thing,
well,
they should have.
No, they didn't do Robin Williams. They just let Will Smith rap. So it was just this. Like you can tell, they did not want him to be Robin Williams at all. And he did his own thing, and I appreciated that.
But whenever he tries to be Robin Williams, it's really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so David, what about you?
I don't think I can add much more to this conversation that hasn't been said. But actually, I want a question answered. What would be make a man out of you? What would that be classified as?
I
guess.
I want
because he wants to make a man out of him.
It's more like
it's not the heroes.
It's more like a montage.
Like there's. And don't get me wrong, there are songs that don't fall into any three of these categories that I adore. Like Jim's theme, also that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I'm Not Here.
Yeah, I'm Not Here. It's actually also called Jim's theme. It has little parentheses around it. Yeah. It's weird. It has two names. But great song. Honestly, I love that song even to listen to outside of a Disney movie, just to have it in random playlists.
Well, no, because I have it on my phone. I bought the song. Like I literally just downloaded it on my phone. But I don't know what you would consider that song.
Which one? The one I'm talking about?
No. The one, Make a Man Out of You.
Make a Man. Yeah, it's I guess montage. I could see it as an I want because it's I want to make a man out of you. So
yeah. No, I mean Reflection would be the I Want song.
Yeah, Reflection.
Yeah.
It's usually the second song. I think tends to be. I don't know.
I think it just depends about where the story's moving. Sometimes, yes.
Yeah. But typically, you start with the heroes.
The I want, like you get to feel where they're going.
Right. Yeah. Anyway. That's a good choice. I like that song a lot. The manliest song they ever released.
If only it was that simple to be a man, right? Nowadays,
all you have to do is
honestly it makes
has to be as swift as a coursing river.
Yeah,
it actually makes being a man sound awesome.
What was that?
Basically, how they describe it, like
with all the force of a
great typhoon, with all the strength of a raging fire. Mysterious as the dark side.
Oh, he's going for it.
No, I'm not going to go there. I can't reach that note.
I was going to say, not again.
The mound.
No.
I was going to, never mind. I can't. There's jokes that mention people that you can't make. So, anyway. I mean, that's a great choice.
And Aristocats.
Everybody
wants to be a cat.
I don't remember much about that.
Everybody.
Wait, what song? You just like that song, or are you saying the whole soundtrack?
Actually, yeah, I would say the whole
It's
soundtrack.
very jazzy.
Yeah.
And honestly, I love that movie. It's so much fun. Like he's saying, that scene is so great. It's just like a hard, raspy voice starts it off like everybody, and then it just goes into this whole dance number where it's like they're basically in a club and get ran out. It's so good.
Yep.
But the soundtrack is amazing on that whole thing. The main cat is Baloo from Jungle Book, same voice actor and everything. And then if you ever saw the TV series Green Acres, that's the cat. And yeah, it's awesome. Great voice cast.
Actually,
great
there's
songs.
another song. I don't know where. It's from the movie Oliver and Company.
I immediately, yep.
Which one? The one where the girl sings it?
No, I Don't Worry.
Oh, the first one.
It's called Don't Worry. Yeah.
Don't Worry.
That's a cool song.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's fun.
I mean, Billy Joel's great.
Yeah. That song and the song that the girl sings on the piano is that was such just a cute, like, little heartwarming song, singing about the you and me forever sort of the kitten.
Yeah.
That one's a good one. But I haven't seen Oliver and Company for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Funny enough, that movie went up against Land Before Time when it came out.
No, it went up against something.
Did it? Land Before Time was 88, I think.
Yeah, Land Before Time was.
I thought
80s,
they went.
90s.
Oliver Company was that late 80s or early 90s? No, that must
2000.
No.
Oliver Company was 2000.
No, that was not 2000.
No. Oliver and Company was actually the last film they made before.
The Renaissance.
I think yes. I think it was right before
The
Little Mermaid.
Okay.
So
it would have been 87-ish.
Yeah, 86 or 87.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it was with. No, you were right. With Land Before Time. Yeah, around that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they went up against each
Yeah,
other.
That makes sense.
I was wrong. Yeah, you were right.
Yeah. I don't know.
And when you think about that, that's like two very different, tonally different movies.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
One spawned like 17 sequels in a TV series.
well, one is happy and fun, kind of.
Yeah.
The other one just
Yeah.
makes you depressed every time you think about it.
That's
I
Don
actually
Bluth.
don't know which one you're talking about.
What? Dude, Don Bluth films are the darkest.
No, but like Land Before Time still had fun moments.
Yeah, I know, but it still makes you depressed.
yeah, especially when you think about how Ducky, the voice actor,
Oh,
she-
that's yeah.
that whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Such a sweet.
Dude, yeah, I think Don Bluth just makes films that like ruin your day. I love Don Bluth films.
I really like The Secret of
Secret of Nim is a cool film. He the page or his bookmaster, the page master,
Page Master.
Page Master with Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin, the pizza man himself.
Yeah.
There's he did plenty others. Did he do We're Back? Troll in New York, did he do those?
Yes.
I don't know about We're Back, but
But he did do
and
Troll.
Secret of Nymph,
Nim.
Nim,
Yeah.
Nim.
The National Institute for Mental Health.
and also American Tale.
That's
Yes.
true. Ugh. I rewatched Fievel Goes West a few weeks ago.
Which was it?
That was the sequel.
It's the sequel.
Oh.
And it's weird, man.
It's something I grew up with and I loved it, but I haven't seen it in years.
Yeah, I feel like in some ways it kind of doesn't hold up. It's just really funky. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm.
Okay,
someone can
we should talk
lambast
about
me.
Don Bluth like another.
We need to do it. Yeah, we need to do an episode on Don Bluth. There's a lot to
Yeah, the
talk
Bluth
about.
Productions.
God.
There's
Yeah.
a lot to talk about with
Yeah.
that.
What about your songs? We haven't hit you yet.
Yeah. So I mean, I already went on a tirade about Hellfire.
Yeah.
And Heavens.
And Heaven's Light. I think that's like the epitome of that sort of duo in the art. It's artistry. I mean, that's the biggest thing for me. I think that was amazing. I think in terms of like, kind of a hero song, I mean, my favorite I really like When Will My Life Begin, Entangled.
Oh.
I think I said it earlier in the podcast too. It's just fun. It exudes joy. It has a lot of kind of fun chord changes and it's musically interesting.
And I mean, it's very relevant to the time right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can try to do everything in one day that she does now.
Yeah, pretty much. Except for 7 a.m. is not. The usual morning lineup is not at 7 a.m. for me right now. But yeah, I like that one. And then I think overall music, overall score, it's Tarzan. Like
easy, yeah.
Like because here's the thing. Tarzan, well, yeah, it's the disembodied voice thing, and maybe it ruined the Disney Renaissance. I don't know.
No.
But, it's hard to make that argument. But, like, it's every song's a banger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, every song.
I really like Son of Man.
Yeah, Son of Man. I love that song. That's a great, it's kind of like a I Want, but it's not. And you know what I mean? It's just it's a montage sort of thing. But you can put it on in the car without the context of the film and without any of the movie happening. It stands on its own as an album. It lyrically is just, it stands on its, I don't know how else to put it. It's good. And then there's two versions essentially of every song.
Yeah, it's like one non-Phil Collins and one Phil Collins.
Right.
And that's the funny part of Thrash in the Camp is it has NSYNC.
The NSYNC, yeah.
NSYNC and Phil Collins, which
Really?
you never,
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. Most of them, I like the theatrical versions. Some of the Phil Collins versions are preferable, but but that's the thing. There's options. They're all good. And that's the same thing even with like Lion King, because that was Elton John. And some of Elton John's versions are cooler than the movie versions. Not all of them, but but those don't stand on their own quite as well as Phil Collins. And then, think about that too. It was so good that they brought him back and told him to do a whole other film.
Brother Bear.
Yeah.
Brother Bear.
And most of those songs are pretty fun. They're not as good.
No, it definitely doesn't hold up as well as Tarzan. And I think part of that is also due to the movie not standing on its own two feet as well as Tarzan.
Yeah, it was okay.
So it's not bad. It's not good. It's Brother Bear.
Yeah.
I just recently found out Joaquin Phoenix is the main
Yeah.
character.
Oh, yeah.
When I found out, I was like, that is bizarre.
He lives in a society of bears. A society.
you should watch, was it that Disney Bear movie?
Brother Bear?
Not Brother Bear.
Brother Bear 2.
No. It's based on one
The
of the
Country
rides.
Bears?
The Country Bears.
I used to watch that a lot as a kid.
It's Christopher Walken when he yells out bears.
Oh, I don't remember that.
It's I don't know. It's how he says it. It's just
Everything
weird.
he says.
The film is bad, but I remember enjoying it as a kid.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd probably watch it today and cringe.
I think half of it is Christopher Walken.
Is he one of the bears?
No, he's the villain.
Oh.
And
Could you imagine him as one of the country bears?
I just want to strum my banjo. That was really bad.
Actually, that wasn't that bad.
You gotta add a country accent.
yeah, he's the main
I don't
villain.
think he can do a country
And
accent.
it's weird.
Not Evan, but
Yeah.
Like there's this one part where he's dancing in his underwear and uses a giant weight and crushes a smaller version of the Country Bears.
I don't remember that
It's
at all,
weird.
Skylar.
It's weird.
Are you sure that you
That
didn't
sounds
drink
like
some
a
pink
fever
elephant?
dream, yeah.
You got some pink elephant juice?
No, it's in the movie.
The only thing I remember from that film was this really cringy wow scene.
Wait, Owen Wilson somewhere?
No,
in
no,
there? Oh.
like the little main bear character just goes, wow, like 4 times in a row. And it's like hard to watch. And then there's another scene where there's like this giant bear and he's like, I may be big, but I'm fast. And just like,
Wait, what?
like he just appears places. I don't know. It's a weird film.
Yeah.
Not animated though, so
Nope.
it's not what we're supposed to be talking about. But that's
it has
okay.
Christopher Walken.
Has
yeah.
Christopher Walken, which has everything to do with Disney.
So next we're going to kind of cover the death of traditionally animated features and if they will ever return. Personally, I don't think Disney will ever have traditional features like hand-drawn features come back because computer animation is a lot easier to animate. It's more consistent. Once you make a computer model, you have it. It's good to go. And like Disney puts a lot of effort into those models, which is why it takes forever. But like it's very easy to make a movie on a low budget now for animation, which is why you see TV series even go in computer animation, because you get this model and it's easy to move if you have like a high track of stories. And so I think that's why you won't see it return. And two, it's the last two Disney traditionally animated features perform poorly at the box office, and the traditional method can't reach the looks and innovations that computers do. Because you had Princess and the Frog, which was one of the last traditionally animated ones, as well as the Winnie the Pooh movie that like bombed so hard it didn't even make it budget bag. And that's with a beloved character that everybody loves. So you see where like, and Princess and the Frog financially was not a winner either. And I think it's come back and kind of got its fan base later on, but both being box office duds. And just look around, you don't see traditional animation anymore. It's done. It's dead. Like, unless you're looking at cartoons, but even, I mean, on TV, but even then, that stuff is not hand drawn. Nothing's hand drawn.
Well, no, I don't think anyone's arguing hand drawn.
No, but it's on like iPads and stuff, and doing something called Flash, where they can get the movement drawn on there and then move it from there. Like, you're able to kind of computerize it and do the movements like that.
Like vector animation, like Johnny Test or something.
Yeah, so there's stuff like that, and there are stuff that is still very much so hand-drawn, like Steven Universe, where it's storyboarded the whole time. But you can see on that one how bad the animation is, and which is why in a world where you need everything to be consistent, I don't think you would see animated features go back to hand animation.
I don't know. I mean, like, people still make 2D things on purpose, right? I think that there's such a thing like that 2D can accomplish that 3D doesn't, which obviously 3D is technically superior. There's many things that it can do that 2D can't do, right? Like, because you could animate 2D in a 3D environment, right? You could cell shade or do some kind of crazy technique to make it look 2D. And, a lot of 2D features use 3D modeling as backgrounds or dynamic camera angles and those kinds of things. But I don't know. I almost feel like 2D has this heart to it. The imperfections are
what makes
part of what make it really good, right? And I mean, even with 3D, they're stretching the models, they're changing things. If you ever see, like you mentioned earlier, the Kristoff getting punched in the face thing, like his face goes out the back of his head. Like they still stretch Hans, whatever. I don't care.
Same thing.
Dumb film. So, they're stretching and moving the models, and you have these imperfections in the way that they move, or even like Elsa when she flips her hair and it clips through her arm.
Yeah.
That famously that dumb animation mistake that's really obvious when you look at it. Yeah. So there are things that it does better, and there are things that I think it's just not as suited to do, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, is 2D dead because a film flopped? I don't necessarily think that that's the case.
I think in Disney's case it is. Maybe not for everything, but I think you can do so much more with computer animation quicker, and that's why you would see it. Because like you watch any of like the last, this is Disney Pixar, but still kind of a part of that. You watch just like at the shirts, you can see bristles of just fabric out of it. I mean, the attention to detail on any of these films is insane.
Yeah, I mean that is nice. I was watching a few of the like short cutout scenes from Toy Story 4. I haven't watched the whole film, but I just watched one or two scenes. And I mean, just the bricks, like some bricks on the walls. I was like, oh man, this look like good bricks. I don't know.
Toy Story 4 has a cat that looks real. And I mean, if you didn't know any better, you would think it was actually like they put a cat in the film and just filmed it around, running around like a green screen. Yeah, it looks real.
Huh. And so that to me is like, it's technically impressive, but what it reminds me of is like in the mid 2010s with video games, when people were like, oh, the new Call of Duty it looks so realistic. I can see the bullets coming out of the gun, and his hands like look like real hands. And then eventually everybody was like, okay, well,
we're just doing the same thing.
But in 3 to 5 years, it looks like crap. Mm-hmm. You know, when God of War 3 came out, it looked unbelievable. Now God of War 3 looks like crap. Mm-hmm. And I mean, maybe it's still a fun game or whatever, but now, I mean, I guess the new God of War looks even better technically, but like, but now you see a lot of kind of a return to more cartoony, less realism, even like Kingdom Hearts 3, right? Mm-hmm. It looks fantastic. It has these kind of strangely realistic models and stuff like that, but they've shaped them in this cartoony way to give you this illusion that it's a, you know, a different style. And I feel like stylization is really where things are going. So, I mean, the technical moves forward are, yeah, they're impressive. I mean, but, you know, it's, I guess, I don't know, the Pixar thing is the technology drives the art and the art inspires the technology. So I get it, but I just feel like we are losing something by not doing 2D films anymore.
Well, because like, when you mentioned video games, I don't know if you guys heard this video game, Order 1886 or something like that. When it first came on the PS4,
yeah.
Like graphically, the game is beautiful. It's stunning. It kind of like takes your breath away sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you look at the lamp. It's a beautiful lamp. You know what I'm talking about.
Give me the lamp.
But when you're playing the game, like there's no life to this. Like, yeah, it looks beautiful, but I can forget about the beauty of it. Like, yeah. There's nothing carrying this game.
Yeah. I mean, even like the, you know, Dad of Sun or the new God of War.
Yeah.
It technically looks amazing. It's gorgeous. It's this uninterrupted one shot. It never changes.
There's
right?
no loading
There's
screen.
no loading screen, which is amazing. But they did back it up with a cool story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've heard the gameplay is fun. It's maybe not as tight as other action games, but you know,
it gets repetitive after a while.
That's what I've heard. But you know, they put a story behind it, so that's great. But at the same time, you know, you look at the indie game development, and people are moving backwards on purpose.
Like Cuphead.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Well, and Cuphead, by the way, traditionally animated.
Yep.
Right. That is actually hand drawn entirely. I think it might have even been scanned. I'm not even sure that
it's a world record. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's incredible, first of all. But I think even like, I mean, that sounds weird. I'm trying to compare video games to animated films, but like, obviously there's a push, there's a movement to change the way that we look at something that's technically impressive, because at a certain point, I just don't care anymore. Right. The new Lion King. Yeah, sure. It looks pretty good.
It's beautiful.
Skylar
It's beautiful. I like that.
It probably has moments, I would assume.
It has moments, but like they make Africa really
bland.
It doesn't have the life that the original had. It doesn't have the colors, even though its fans try to say, oh, but it's trying to be realistic.
Right. And I guess maybe that's where the disconnect is like, at what point are we pushing the technology when it's like, you know what still looks good today? Robin Hood. Robin Hood still looks amazing.
Oh, they're trying to do a remake.
Great. Yeah, great.
Yes, and it will have CGI animals.
I'm sure. And Maid Marian will probably be the hero. She'll be a better archer than Robin Hood.
Actually, they almost did that as an actual movie.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. We'll get to cultural vandalism at some point, but you know, I don't know. I mean, I think unfortunately, it's probably true. We probably won't see a traditionally animated, isn't hand drawn, even if it's digital, right? Yeah. We probably won't see that for a long time, if ever, from Disney. I don't know, especially financially, the way Disney's going right now.
It really depends. You just have to have one movie in a traditional way to really do well.
Yeah.
And be like a cultural phenomenon.
Right.
Because if there isn't, Disney doesn't care. But if you have a bunch of movies that are doing well in this traditional style, Disney's going to look at it and like,
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I want to see more, but
if someone else takes over Disney and wants to try it out one time as an experiment.
Yeah, I think it would take the right idea, and someone would have to say, "This is why I want to do it this way," and you'd go, "Oh, okay." I don't know.
Well, here's the thing, though. It's like for a full feature-length film, I do think it's dead. But what I was looking up over here was Short Circuit on Disney Plus. It's a thing of all these like shorts that animators came in. They're experimental and everything. And some are more hand-drawn. They're not this computer animated look. They're and there is actually one called Just a Thought that is done like a comic book and like a very old school, like Riverdale, what's that guy's name?
Archie,
like an Archie comic. And it's great. And if you look this up on Disney Plus, you get to see that the animation style is still alive and well, even in a beautiful short film look rather than a feature length. So I do think short film will keep up the look rather than the other.
Well, even, and I'll say it again, the Tangled television show is actually gorgeously animated. It is clearly digital. I think there's some level of vector animation in there. It's probably some mixture of vector and some kind of hand-drawn, nonsense in there. It looks amazing, and the style looks like at the end of Tangled when they have the little montage, like, and the credit rolling. It looks like that.
Well, you realize what they did with Tangled, the series. I actually haven't seen it, but I heard, you know how she draws in the beginning of the film?
Yeah,
it's her drawings.
Yeah, it looks exactly.
It's supposed to follow, like she's drawing out the story for you and everything.
Yeah, it looks a lot like that. So I mean, but it's just very well done, and it looks different. The style looks different from a lot of other, hand drawn or whatever you'd call it, 2D animation that I've seen. So I think it can come back. I mean, we're kind of treading over the same old ground now, but I want to see it.
Yeah.
I don't know if we will see it. Maybe in the next generation.
I think no matter what, animation will be carried on as long as there's compelling stories. I mean, you can have the most breathtaking animation, computer animation, and if it's a terrible story, it's a terrible movie. And like you're saying, even with Cuphead, where it's kind of this backtrack of things, and then there was, I believe it was called Loving Vincent, where it was a fully painted movie, where it was animated, but only by painting strokes. So I think you will see like kind of more art house projects like that done. Even a movie called Claws on Netflix was more traditional animation.
No, that was actually 3D made to look like 2D.
They did. It was 2D and then they added 3D elements.
Really?
Yeah, it was kind of like what they did with Treasure Planet. You can look at watching like a making of video.
I heard it was 3D made into looking like 2D.
We'll look this up later.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think even if it is 3D, I think you can see the look of the style still alive.
Yeah.
Where it's, because if you do watch Claws, it looks much more 2D rather than a 3D feature.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think, that we have a lot of shows that are coming out now that are kind of blending that, which I enjoy and I actually want to see more of. Obviously, Dragon Prince kind of does that. It's not as successful as it could be, probably in executing it. Season 3 does look a lot better than the rest of the show.
Yeah, season 1 was bad.
But the models are kind of weirdly low res. I feel like in the show anyway. But Beastars looks fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
It looks so good.
Actually, uncomfortable again.
Actually, here's something. Background characters who are not super important are made into 2D.
Oh, really?
And the main characters and some other characters are 3D.
Yeah. But the studio that did that, they actually did the intros for parts 1 through 3 of JoJo.
Oh, that makes sense.
And they have this really good blend of 3D and 2D sort of looking like cell shaded 3D. And even, I guess you could say, Spider-Verse was kind of like that.
Yeah.
Right? Where they're pushing it to more, it's not really 2D, but it has these elements in there that are sort of 2D light.
Yeah, it was definitely made to look like a comic book was jumping out of the pages.
Right. Lower frame rates and things like that. And so I think that there is obviously room to grow. There's things that can happen that will retain interest. But I would like to see more. I would like to see less of the typical Disney and Pixar look And I would like them to move to something else because it's just not interesting at this point to me. But I don't know. I'm not entertained by the technology anymore. Feels like I'm watching Call of Duty. So anyway, well, I guess, yeah, there's that. And then the last thing we kind of wanted to go over was, the Disney Renaissance. Like, obviously, those were the films from
Little Mermaid to
Tarzan. I think Tarzan was the last one.
No, I think there was. Can someone look that up?
I think Tarzan was the last one because what was after that? I don't think Mulan was after that. I think that was before.
I'm going to look it up.
Skylar's on the way. All right.
There you go. But, the Disney Renaissance was that whole, like, they were struggling. I mean, as a company, they didn't put out good films for a long time. They were doing some okay stuff in the 70s, and in the 80s they had Black Cauldron, which was one of the highest budget films of all time when it came out. And they butchered the source material. It was originally going to be the first R-rated Disney film because of the level of violence in it. And it was a failure. I mean, by all accounts, it just sucked. And they cut out like 30 minutes from the film. So it made no sense narratively and all this stuff. And they just took a huge bath on it, right? Oliver and Company didn't do all that well either. And I don't know. I mean, what was their Rescuers Down Under? Was that the 80s?
Yes.
No, that was the 90s.
Was that the 90s?
That's actually part of the Renaissance.
Is
Really?
it part of the Renaissance?
Man, that movie
So
sucks.
you have a Renaissance list, right?
Wait, are you talking about Renaissance? Are you talking about Rescuers or Rescuers Down Under?
Rescuers Down Under sucks.
Actually, that one's considered a cult classic.
I was gonna say
I
I
don't like that one.
I grew up though on Rescuers and Rescuers Down Under. We have them both on VHS.
So did I.
Yeah.
But I just don't. Like
I don't know. I think
I like the first one much better.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the first one basically had Cruella de Vil again, just as a different character,
Yeah.
and like there was even talks to have her be Cruella de Vil. And it was going to be like the first like sequel over kind of deal. But at that time, they didn't do sequels, which is ironic because Rescuers became the first Disney sequel. So
Did it really?
well, it's the first one to be produced by the same company. It's like Wreck-It Ralph,
Oh, yeah.
Rescuers, and Frozen are the only three that has been in that Disney classic animation with a sequel.
Oh, wow. Huh, didn't know that.
Yeah.
But,
I'm getting no service in here.
oh, well, we can't figure out all the films. I'm pretty sure it's Little Mermaid to Tarzan.
Aladdin, Little Mermaid, Hercules, Tarzan, Rescuers Down Under, Mulan, and then we'll cap it at that.
You forgot Beauty and the Beast.
And that one
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So, I mean, and those were like super high grossing Lion King.
Yeah, that one's in there too.
Super high grossing, very well critically acclaimed. Like it was the season when Disney could literally do no wrong.
Oh yeah.
And it basically ended after Tarzan. They started putting out flops. Obviously we love Treasure Planet, but Treasure Planet was a huge flop. So was Atlantis.
Yeah.
So was Home on the Range.
Yep.
So was Chicken Little.
But there was a gem within all that, Lilo and Stitch.
Lilo and Stitch was good.
I mean, even financially, it did well.
Yeah.
So
And before that, like we said, Oliver and Company and a few others before. So they had this, they've struggled. And I mean, there were many times, even in the 60s and 70s, when Disney almost went completely under, which is funny. Like you were saying, Aristocats has the same voice actor as Baloo or, as, and that's because they were contracted to do like 3 films. Because I think he did Little John as well.
yeah. Well, and I mean, like Kaa and Jungle Book
the
is
snake.
Winnie the Pooh, and who else? I think it's just Winnie the Pooh and
they reused a lot of old cells and character designs.
Oh,
and stuff
watch
like that.
Robin Hood, and then there's like that entire movie is just their former movies. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, reskin.
Completely reskinned. Like
Yep.
yeah, different.
even using designs.
Oh
Was
yeah.
that Little John is just blue?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, so obviously they were doing kind of rough for a while and having these hit and miss things, and then the 90s comes around and it's just crazy. So obviously, I think really 2011 is when Tangled came out. I think that was almost like a new era of like, oh wow, they got their crap together and they started making good films again. which I mean, in my opinion, I think Frozen didn't carry on that tradition, but
Yeah.
But in terms of being gorgeously animated
and financially successful,
absolutely.
because there has not been a flop since Tangled. Like, look at all the animation that has come out since then. You have Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Actually, Dumbo the remake flopped.
But
Well, that's not what we're
Walt
talking
Disney
about.
Animation Studios.
But yeah, Wreck-It Ralph 2, Tangled 2, Frozen.
Right.
Am I missing Big Hero 6?
Yeah.
And is that it?
Frozen 2.
There might have been
No, I said
another
Frozen
one.
Oh, you did.
Anyways,
yeah.
all those
Moana.
movies.
Big Friendly
Moana,
Giant.
yes.
Big Friendly Giant, I think.
No, that was Steven Spielberg.
Never mind.
I think it was by Disney.
It was, but
It was
also
probably
not.
published by Disney.
Yeah.
Anyways, so all these movies, I agree with you. They were all financially successful, kind of the turnaround of this flop era between about 2002 to about 2009 was all flops.
Right. But at the same time, it doesn't feel the same. Like, I just, okay, Wreck-It Ralph's a fun film, but is it that good? I don't know. I've watched it like twice.
Yeah.
It's fun. I mean, it's okay. Like, Frozen is fine. I mean, it's okay. It's just not on the level as some of those 90s bangers. And part of that I know is probably, well, we grew up in the 90s and therefore
Nostalgia.
therefore it's nostalgia. But like, I just even think on a technical level, the songwriting, the story structure, the character designs, some things just don't all hold up quite the same way. I mean, actually, the character design is still pretty good, but like,
Oh yeah, incredible. Zootopia, forgot about that one.
Zootopia. And but Zootopia is almost all their designs were like taken from all the 60s and 70s stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
like,
they still had to reskin them and everything and computer animate them.
Like, how many people said basically, was it Nick Wilde looks like Robin Hood?
Yeah.
Like how many people theorized that he might be his descendant.
Yeah. That's some
down there.
dumb stuff.
Actually, the whole Zootopia being related to Lion King and Robin Hood is a pretty good theory.
Is it though?
I think it's a good theory.
Well, it's just that Disney Pixar movie theory where it's like, let's make a theory that combines every
Like
movie
where
together.
Boo is the old woman.
Yeah,
and
then it takes you to Cars after Wall-E. Once Wall-E like comes back and takes over the planet.
That
like,
one's a little bit of a stretch.
yeah, and everything is ridiculous about all of that.
Right.
And it's same with like Disney. Like they make them as independent features. They're not trying to add everything together like Quentin Tarantino. But
I don't know. I just don't like. But will they ever recreate? I mean, obviously they're recreating the financial success.
yes.
Are they recreating the critical and artistic successes of the 90s?
See,
I wouldn't really say all that much.
I would say the 90s was very fairy tale driven. You had Aladdin, you had Tarzan, like these old school books. And then with Zootopia was a very high concept. It was a look at racism. Seriously, this whole thing of predator to prey
it was supposed to.
It's botched. It's hardcore.
It's a race evaluation, and it's supposed to make you like kids look at it and go like, "Oh, look."
But the races flip halfway through the film.
Beastars does it better.
That's what everyone says.
It really does do it better.
And anyways,
the problem was that it flipped the races halfway through the film, because for the first half you're supposed to feel like, oh, the oppressed ones are the herbivores, right? And then it flips it and it's like, no, the oppressed ones are the predators. And so you're like, okay, but so which ones are the minorities? Which ones am I supposed to like more? Like, I don't understand.
You're supposed to just like everybody.
Well,
that's
yes,
the point.
I get it, but
and
you know what I mean.
That's what they were trying to do, though. It's like, yes, they do flip it. It's because like we shouldn't have prejudice about prey or predator. It should just be like the person or
I don't want
like
people
the
to
person.
eat me.
Hey, Corona's coming in. I mean, we're gonna run out of toilet paper and food pretty quick. So,
well, if you watch Beastars, then maybe you want them to eat you.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, the rabbit character seems a little psychotic from what I've seen.
Oh no, she's practically normal.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
But I will add on to that point though, is like, yes, it has a financial success, but it's not this fairy tale look anymore. It's more of a like they're trying to go story driven. Obviously, Zootopia was a buddy cop movie, and then like Wreck-It Ralph was this like video game movie that is not based off a video game, but has all these characters and properties that kind of was almost a Roger Rabbit of pulling in everybody, and you got to see like these characters interact with an original story in between all of it.
Yeah.
And so it's not, what we grew up with, but it still is fun. It still is relevant. And like, I'm not a huge fan of the whole Frozen 1, Frozen 2, and Wreck-It Ralph and Wreck-It Ralph 2 all coming in the same era. Cause it's like, let's be original. Let's keep putting out original stories. And so I will say that has kind of not recaptured the renaissance of like all these original properties and stuff. And granted, I actually really love Wreck-It Ralph 2, but I think sequels should wait a little longer than they did.
Yeah. Well, but then we saw, I mean, it's not Disney, but Pixar waited all that time to make a sequel to Incredibles. And I felt like it didn't pay off. Not good. Yeah. It was not good.
Well, and I agree. And that was definitely a cash grab on their part where it was literally just Incredibles rewrapped.
Which is too bad because I remember like back in the day, Brad Bird, the director, was saying
Iron Giant and...
he did a lot of different things. And he was saying, I will not make an Incredibles 2 until the perfect script rolls across my desk. So I was like, oh, well, he said he wants to make it, but it was like 10 years. And then it comes like, he must have gotten the perfect script. Oh, this sucks. Yeah. Like, I was just not impressed by it. I mean, obviously the animation and stuff is impeccable.
Yeah,
the action scenes are great, but anyway, like what would it take for Disney to recapture that magic again?
See, I think the culture's changed and I think it's almost impossible for them to recapture it. I think it could be not recaptured, but rebranded, where it's this magic you feel, but it's never going to be like what we experienced. And you touched on a little bit because of nostalgia for one, but for two, it's just a lot of the stuff they even did in the 90s, they cannot pull off today. The culture's changed, what we can do, what we can say and everything.
Right.
And so I think it will be different.
But is that going to stifle us? That's kind of my question, right? Like, the whole Mulan thing, like we talked a little bit about it earlier, we know for a fact it is changing. We cannot have Mulan again. Like it can't be done because it's not politically correct in whatever strange small ways people didn't like it and the way that China didn't like it. So like, and also we have to consider too that they've been making films for China for, a lot of Hollywood has for a long time. So our cultural tastes have almost nothing to do with a lot of the films that are being made today, like that dumb Skyscraper film by who made that one?
Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
Yeah.
I completely forgot.
It only made money in China.
Really?
Only Chinese people liked it.
The villain was Chinese. So they definitely went on that one.
Yeah, but that obviously Disney is getting influenced by Chinese audiences. They're changing things for Chinese audiences. And,
Star Wars makes no money in China.
Yep. No, well, it made money in China for the first film. Then they lost all their money when they put Rose Tico and the black guy together, but they had the Asian and the black guy. So they the second film bombed, and then the third one they intentionally split them apart to try to get China to watch the film, and of course they didn't.
Well, even the first 6 movies though pretty much bombed in China.
Well, but there's also the whole thing of it's not culturally relevant to them.
Exactly.
The Western storytelling, the freedom from a tyrannical government. Ooh. In what way does that speak to the Chinese people?
Well, until they get a new government system.
Right. They're just
they just got to try what North Korea is doing right now.
Just letting your dictator die?
Yeah, and then getting a waifu up in there.
Yeah. There's already art. Don't worry about it.
I don't know about that. We'll see. But I don't know. We can say, oh well, the culture is changing, and therefore, the magic is going to change. But was the magic because of the culture? Like, I mean, this is something I seriously ask. Like, in the culture, the way it's changing, is it even possible to make something that strikes at the heart of its viewers? If we're stripping all of the meaning, we're stripping the whole men and women are different. We're stripping that out. And I mean, I'm not trying to get like political, but I'm just saying like, is it even possible to remove ourselves from part of our culture and still make things that are powerful and impactful? Can we remove all the spirit and all the heart and still have something left over? You giving me dead air, guys.
You broke us. Like, I think the answer is no. Like, I think the Renaissance was a period in time that almost can't be recaptured. I could be wrong, but it's going to be something that will be different. Even just the slightest bit of difference. There will never be that same Renaissance because the guys that directed it even have changed their tastes where they're not even made. Like I said, Moana was made by the people that made like Aladdin, and obviously two very different tonally movies and everything they did, and like Grace Mounts Detective and Treasure Planet. And they also made Princess and the Frog. And so you can kind of see their change over time where they tried with the Princess and the Frog to kind of recapture that magic, and with Moana they went more with the times and went like, okay, like animation is done, like we're gonna go to computer animation now, and this type of story is done where it went more of kind of a pop musical than a retro musical, because like you have the shiny song You're Welcome, and granted I actually do really like How Far I'll Go, great song, done by Elisa Ocarlo, and I'm sorry if I butchered that name. It's very Hawaiian. But it was done by, like, you know, they always do the pop artist redoing the song. Yeah. Her version is terrible, and it used to play at Lowe's every single day, 5 times a day while I was at work. Wow. And so I had that song ingrained in my head of the terrible cover and not the good actual thing that she did.
I didn't really like the music in Moana personally. I mean, the shiny song was okay, and You're Welcome is the only one I remember even a little bit.
Yeah, but my point is you got to see their style change. You got to see even the people that were a part of the Renaissance don't even have that magic anymore. Right. It's different. It's like they're older, they're wiser, I guess. It's a bit of their corporate overlords are squeezing tighter, and so that's the other thing less too. Creative freedom.
The corporate culture in Disney has been just, I mean, it's huge. I mean, obviously it owns Fox. It owns
20th century.
Well, right? That's Fox.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
It
owns Pixar. It owns Marvel. Gosh. Lucasfilm now. Yeah. Gosh. Like, it owns everything. I mean, it's one of the top, 3 media conglomerates or something like that. I you know, is it even possible for them to get away? Like, the corporate culture is obviously taking a stranglehold. We've even seen this in the Marvel films, right? We've they were pretty good up until Endgame. I even felt like Endgame was not as strong as a lot of the films that came before it.
I still like it.
Yeah, it was fine.
Oh, it's great, but you definitely have to watch all the other movies first.
Well, but I mean, even as a standalone film, like, I think that what was the one before that? The Infinity War. Infinity War might be the top 3 in the top 3 of all the Marvel films. It's really, really good. In the last one is just not that good. Personally, I just didn't like Endgame all that much. I wasn't that impressed by it. Even the CGI didn't look as good, which was weird to me.
Maybe it's because they were doing so much.
I think that I think
you ended up getting kind of that Avatar effect where everything is CGI, and so you're just like, there's no practical effects.
Maybe it was the last part of the film. They put all their budget into it or something.
That could be true too.
It's probably the last part.
Well, I mean, like, you think of how much they were paying their actors, the CGI, the space they had to rent. Like, that final scene had so many actors in it. Right. It's ridiculous.
And I mean, it was epic. It was cool. It had lots of fun moments. Of course, they put that weird squat up moment at the end too, which to me was like, okay, that is a perfect example. It's a microcosm of what is happening to the company as a whole. right? They couldn't just make the scene and put, Miss Captain Marvel and all these other characters who were just fighting alongside everyone like everybody else. No, they had to make it. It's very intentional. It had to be this thing.
Even in the context of the movie, it suddenly all of them.
Really? Yeah, I just didn't.
I would be okay if maybe 4 of them kind of showed up.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it
like a small group, and that's it.
Yeah, it was fine.
Because Infinity War kind of did that scene too, kind of, where they're fighting the female alien. And
they
kind of,
but it wasn't it just wasn't as cringe. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It was cringe anyway. But that's we can go on and on forever about it. I just think that we're starting to see the corporate culture and the cultural vandalism where they're removing things from the Disney Plus. They're changing things about the movies in the past. They're scrubbing their history, and moving forward, darn well, they're going to try their best to not ever offend anybody ever again, especially their nice Chinese overlords, right? Oh, yeah. So I don't know. Obviously, I remain hopeful that if not Disney, then somebody else comes along and creates something that's meaningful. And,
basically, was it Disney just needs someone new running things who just doesn't care about offending people.
Right. Or they need to, or something about the culture changes, which could happen. We're in a weird time right now. The culture could change, in some drastic way, maybe. I hope not, but maybe, and maybe something that signifies a new era is born. I mean, that was what Star Wars was. Star Wars came and reinvigorated the film industry. It brightened it up in a weird way. And so anyway, we can be hopeful. We look forward to obviously new things to gripe about and be critical of and like. But anyway, I think that's about all we have to talk about today. And that was quite a marathon. But anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.